Oh, gee. Okay. All right. This is not our snow level.
We've had too many snow levels, haven't we?
We have. But we have gone here today, though, haven't we?
No, we've never been here today. At least not with you. Maybe you did as we were talking before we started.
No, I think you're right. I'm gone here. I think it was the Mario circuit, a different one.
I mean, there's like 4 different Mario circuits in this entire game, so I'm not surprised. Really, Link?
Yeah.
Really? You're just gonna bot me with some random green shell when I'm in like 7th place? Like, seriously, bro?
Karma.
I don't want to hear it.
Karma. Fucker. Jeez. Rat bastards, a lot of you.
What'd you do? Get hit by like 5 blue shells? Is anyone trying to use lightning on me for some strange reason? Oh, what now? Okay, you love to see it.
That's bullshit. So not only are you on the DLC cart, but you have insider fucking information. Is there no depths you won't sink to?
That was a terrible race.
Like, good God, man. That's cheating.
Sorry?
How did you know it was going to be lightning? How did you know? That's cheating. It's inside information.
Everyone gets lightning at some point in the game.
How did you know it was the right time to use your star power, man?
Don't tell anyone, but I have insider information.
Fucking knew it. You're paying them off.
I totally was paying him off. All right, let's see if I can get some water while the track's picked.
Better hurry up. See if I get some water.
All right, there we go. I'm back before. Wow, that's pretty
That was very slow. Very slow. Why is it never that slow whenever I have to go to the bathroom? It's not fucking fair, man.
Karma?
No, only you.
Oh god, I thought I threw that a little bit. Oh Jesus, how did I not get hit by that? Okay, that was weird.
Asking the real questions here.
My insider information did not have this likable possibility on me.
See, even insider information is fallible.
Yep. Ow. Dude, really? You're gonna hit me with that?
Yep.
Karma that you fell off the edge?
It was worth it.
Donkey Kong just flying over my head. Okay. Stay away from me with that red shell there, Princess Peach. Jeez. My god. Okay, what the F was that? God, this race is a cluster bomb. Just go off. Oh my gosh. 6 mushrooms. Okay. Well, I guess that kind of helps. Not really. The fact it feels like everyone just is boosting ahead, but yeah, sure.
Let me guess. You got your star power again?
No, I was the one who used the lightning, so.
Oh, Jesus.
I was in 11th place. What do you expect?
You freaking degenerate.
Ow.
It serves you right.
What did I do?
And use the lightning.
Hey, I rarely get to use lightning, so you know what?
No, doesn't. Just because other people are bad doesn't mean you should be bad.
Jeez.
Have some morals, man. God. Karma. You get for using lightning. You know, how many tracks are in this game, Talon?
God, I want to say like at least 70 plus, it feels like.
Okay, so then why do I keep seeing the same 15 or so tracks?
I don't know. Oh, I really don't. Don't ask me.
Talon, why? Can you tell me why?
I don't know, man. I don't know. My insider information does not give me this particular set of data or anything, so I don't know. Blame it on Nintendo's crappy online system. I don't know. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Okay, we'll go with that. Sound good?
I find that answer lacking.
I'm sorry that you find that lacking, but it is what it is. A lot of people from Australia.
Well, I mean, they're roughly the same time zone as you.
They're 2 hours ahead of me, but I'm saying like most people would be in school right now or, you know, be at work.
Why aren't you at school?
Because it's my day off. I always have Sunday, Monday off.
What? You should be working, boy.
I work Tuesday through Saturday.
No, you gotta get on our job to work those extra 2 days. Grind mindset, man.
F that shit.
Grind mindset.
All right, how much you want to bet I get hit struck by lightning somewhere in here?
Well, see, that's on you. You see, you're warned.
God damn it, Link stole my item pad. See, a lemon with a star power. This isn't good.
Come over here, buddy.
Hey, buddy, I just want to talk to you for a minute. Oh, come on, blue shell. You're not supposed to go that way. I couldn't even get my red shells off. What the F was that?
Yes.
That was just... Oh, come on. Jesus.
You drove into it, didn't you?
No, I just keep getting smacked by everything. Game, give me a break. Really? The... Triple stars, okay. Guess I'll take it.
Why would you not want triple
stars?
Oh,
the lightning! Insider information! I mean, that was karma right there.
You let your ego get ahead of you.
I mean, I wasn't going to win this race, not by a long shot, but still. God, that was absolutely atrocious. Ay, ay, ay.
that was solid enough.
That was terrible from my end.
No. As long as I'm ahead of you.
As long as I'm ahead of you, that's all that matters.
Good. Random.
Yeah, this is a random. God damn it, more people keep leaving. What the F?
Did you see the DLC cart? Man, look at this tryhard. Look at him. This is not a track we've been on in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been to Singapore. It's been a while since I've actually been to Singapore. I need to go back there again. It's a fun country to go visit.
Show off.
I just imagine less Goombas though, you know.
Well, you don't go around calling short people Goombas. Missing out.
This is not my night for Mario Kart. Why did I make you pick this? Donkey Kong, seriously?
Ow.
Is that you in the ammunition, William? Yep.
Perhaps. No, you really gotta space out your red shells, man.
Oh, I thought I saw on my screen you fell off the track, so I'm like, oh, I'll get the guy in front of him.
Like, you wasted like 3 of them on me.
Oh, I only threw 1 at you, but okay, sure.
So on my screen, 1 hit me, 1 hit me again, and 1 went past me, and then blew up.
Okay. Birdo! F you. And just like that, I'm in last place. I don't need the triple green shells. Get rid of them. Jeez, that was a terrible race. My God.
I'm ahead of you, so it doesn't matter.
Hey. That sucked. I need a redemption arc after that.
You kind of do.
That was just absolutely terrible. Okay, so I need to ask. So you're currently finishing up Metaphor. So what's after Metaphor if it's not going to be Dragon Quest?
It's oh wait, I should play the DLC.
Okay, so the DLC will probably take you a weekend at most.
No, it's not that short.
Yeah, but if you just played over the weekend, it'll be fine.
Guy, not all of us stay at home all weekend playing video games. Some of us get pulled outside.
I mean, yeah, I was outside all day yesterday for my anniversary, so I couldn't play anything yesterday. Huh?
Then you know.
Yeah, but last I checked, you already went to see your parents the previous weekend. So unless you've already got plans with people, which I know you don't regularly go over to Seattle or anything like that. What do you have planned next
pretty
weekend?
much at a minimum have one day just taken up every weekend, and then it's usually Sunday people have to fight over.
Well, maybe it's time you put your foot down. You're like, you know what? No, I'm gonna have a weekend completely to myself. You guys, I'll see you next weekend.
I am gonna have a weekend to myself, be a degenerate, and not leave the house, is what I heard.
Yeah, pretty much. You just need to learn to say no, my man.
I don't know, man. Seems kind of degenerate behavior, man.
Yeah, but you know deep down you secretly want to.
That's what I did today.
And because of it, you got to get a lot of gaming in, right?
And I got through the Dragon Temple dungeon.
Okay, so that's good.
No, I guess it's really like the longest one. I felt the part.
How long did it take you to get through?
Just about all day.
Lived up to its name then.
Yeah. It's quite long. At least it wasn't all day, because I only really started playing games until like noon anyway.
Ah, lazy morning.
Well, I mean, I woke up a bit late, then I installed the SSD into the console, and
Wait,
then
what?
I started.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You said you finally got an SSD into your PS5.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. I was just like,
it's
like, what? You take your SSD out every time you don't play it?
well, it's probably good for the health of the SSD. That's how you keep the longevity, you know? No, but it's kind of dumb. It's not a unified pool, so I actually have to explicitly say install to this one and install to that one, I think.
You can set it up to do it automatically.
Well, it's default. Like, what if I fill up my main one? Is it going to go to the SSD?
It should.
Or is it
But
you have to tell it
I just started making the SSD the default one. That's all I did.
Ugh.
I got 2 terabytes to kill. Might as well use it.
Well, technically now I have 7 on my console. Because I have the internal, like, 700.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 more, and then I have a 4 terabyte spinning disk hard drive for PS4 games.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which is full up, because I've been dumping all the old
I was about to say,
PS5
you've
games
been
in there,
dumping
too.
all your PS4 games onto there now.
Well, no, PS4 I play on there, and the PS5 you can put PS5 games onto, you just can't play them on there.
Right.
So it's like a backup.
Yeah, it's
So-
a backup essentially.
I'm wondering if you can have multiple external drives though.
I don't see why you couldn't.
PS5. Well, they might not support it.
I'm sure they do support it.
External drives. Yeah. Yeah, USB extended storage on PS5 consoles from the horse's mouth. 2. Thought I saw it here. Two or more USB extended drives can't be connected at the same time. You can connect multiple USB drives to your console, but you can only use one at a time.
Huh?
Which is dumb.
But you're the only person I know of that actually has backed up games like that. So
Sounds like you need to
Are
hang
we-
out with some cooler people. Like, gotta have as much storage as possible. Also, what is this race not gonna start?
I think we're probably gonna get booted.
There is no God.
Yep, there is no God. All right, who we blame, folks? I vote on Lemon. Oh, hey, the race is actually
Oh,
starting. Wow. You know, usually this would be the time where I'd be like, okay, who's the dumbass with the hard drive and not the SSD? But we're not on PC, so
Oh, they're just using the first generation micro SD. About 15 years ago.
about 15 years ago, before the Switch even came out.
Yep, they stole it out of their parents' digital camera.
Oh God.
They erased all the family photos to put Switch games on them. One Switch game.
Then the grandparents are gonna come over one Christmas Eve, and mom's gonna be like, "Oh, we gotta show you videos from like I don't know, 2009."
Gone.
It's gone, empty.
Just to make room for Mario Kart.
Yep. Jesus, enough with the frickin' fireballs, people.
Fire. Fire.
The dancing crabs. Ah, damn it, you stole my double item.
I think we'll get over it.
No, I'm never gonna get over it. Our friendship, over.
Is there a particular reason why you didn't get hit by my fireballs?
I don't know. But they missed me on my screen.
I specifically fired them at you, and yet you didn't get hit by them. Why?
I don't know. Don't ask me. You try to ram me, but you didn't have your star.
No, I didn't try to ram you. I just tried to get around you.
Oh.
You're taking the slow person route of trying to block, and I'm like, get the fuck out of my way, slowpoke.
Get out of here, man.
That was really dumb, though. I can't have hard drives hooked up.
I'm sure you'll get over it.
So how am I supposed to move data from one drive to another? Pretty sure you can do it on my PS3. But I can't do it on my PS5. Like, the hell's going on, guys?
Since when did you take up 2 to 4 gig or terabytes of storage on a PS3? Sure, games back then were nowhere near that size still.
I'm pretty sure I had a 1 terabyte drive in my PS3.
Yeah. But you're saying moving from different drives to different drives, which tells me you would have multiple terabyte drives. Because back then, 4 terabyte drives were still pretty expensive.
Well, if I wanted to move it from a 1 terabyte drive to a 3 terabyte drive, how would I do it?
Throw it onto your PS5, hook up the 3 terabyte one, and get moving.
You can't do that. You can't do that. So I right now have a 4 terabyte drive, and I want to get an 8 terabyte. I don't think I can move those games. They're stuck there.
You can. No. You can. You just have to do it very slowly. You have to take a certain section of games, put them onto your PS5, unplug the smaller one, put the bigger one in, transfer them over, and you got to rinse and repeat a bunch of times, essentially. Have fun.
Talent.
You didn't think that. You didn't think that out. You didn't think that out very much, did you?
No, it's 2024, guy. I shouldn't have to do this shit. Are we really not gonna be able to get in this race? It's gonna happen again. What?
What is with the Mario? You know what? I blame? I blame that maintenance that you and I experienced back on Wednesday. like seriously, what has changed between now and then? It was that.
Why does God give his strongest warriors the most difficult challenges?
Seriously.
God damn it, stop doing that. I wasn't ready.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Bullshit, you were not ready.
I was.
You were waiting just as much as I was.
I was, but then I saw the number count down and I got my boost. So I don't know what you're complaining about.
No, you didn't.
Check the stream. Survey says.
It's probably the DLC card. You can't not get it.
I just automatically get the start boost because of the DLC card.
I'm just imagining that. Just like a solid 3. Everyone's already gone. You hit the button, it just takes off. It's a feature of the DLC card. Always get your boost.
Yep. It just must have been busted for the last 5 years because every time I've tried to use it, it never works. It only works now.
Well, you have to turn it on. So it's a feature.
Is it features?
It's default. It's an opt-in kind of thing because they think, nah, people have morals. They wouldn't turn this on. And then what did you do? You turned it on.
Ow.
God, I don't think I've been lightning so consistently in so goddamn long. What is? Did they turn the chance rate up for that or something?
Maybe another downside to that maintenance that we saw the other day.
It's not right.
Another bullet bill. Jesus, game. Oh, I did not time that right. Really, Boo? A green shell? That's what you give me? All right, final item. Let's see what I get. All right, Boo, give me something good.
Fucking hell.
What happened?
Bullshit game being bullshit.
Oh. Oh, wait, did I steal your triple mushrooms?
No.
Oh, okay.
The buffer for the drift is kind of jank at times. Sometimes it'll eat your request and sometimes it won't, and it did not decide not to eat the request and it shot the wrong way.
Lovely.
Right in the lava. Yeah, God, I could get an 18 terabyte drive.
How much is that costing you?
300.
That's not bad, actually. All things
That's
considered.
dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Fuck am I gonna put? I don't know what I'm gonna put on my 18 terabyte drive.
The only person using an 18 terabyte drive who do, like software configuration and like development would be my guess.
No, it's for people like you. A
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of video.
I totally need an 18 terabyte drive, man. Yeah, that's what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, for archive. Yeah, why I don't know why you're making a joke out of it. Like raw video files ain't small and it's for archival.
Right, but I don't. Yeah, that's if you're going to be filming at 8K on everything.
You're not filming at 8K?
No, I don't have the ability to.
Guy, how are you gonna future-proof yourself? How are you gonna remaster this stuff in the future?
Become Sony,
can't
just
make
remaster all my
pixels.
content.
You can't do that. It's gonna look fuzzy.
God, imagine like 2040 trying to watch those old cat videos on YouTube.
You don't have to imagine. Just try to watch a video from 2009. Tell me how much fun it is.
Oh,
it's so
pretty
crunchy.
bad. Yep, 480p at the highest.
That's it for lucky.
Yeah. What was it? What's the lowest? It was 144?
Like 140 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
God, it was ass.
It was pretty terrible. But guess what? We sucked it up back then because that's all we had.
It's wrong. They treated us poorly.
Anyone remember watching like anime episodes like in 12 parts and that quality every like, and all of them were like 2 minutes? Oh, those are the days. Not really. Not really.
I don't miss that at all.
I bet you don't.
Crunchy videos make me a sad panda. Oh, you fuckwad.
What?
God damn you. Some sack of shit took my goddamn item box. Was it you?
I don't know. Are you behind me? No, you're in front of me.
I don't know.
I couldn't take it. I'm behind you.
It's the power of the DLC cart.
I created a duplicate of myself.
At this point, it's like the when you're playing action figures with your friends, they just keep making up bullshit rules about how they're the greatest character ever. It's like that. That's what the DLC card is.
Wow, what the F was that red shell? That is a green shell. Sorry, my bad. Oh God! Oh,
fucking hell!
Well, I was already in the second to last place, so I mean, it didn't last very long. Give me something good, game. I guess double red shell is fine. Ah, the boomerang.
Podium.
Fine.
Podium.
Hey. It is what it is, folks.
It's not our night, man.
It is not. It is really not our night. This is definitely one of the not so good nights when it comes to playing Mario Kart every week.
That's too nice. It's a shite day.
It's a pretty bad day.
Shite.
All right, I say we do 2 more, and then we'll talk about some topics.
Okie dokes.
Especially because tonight's just not our night.
Yep, pretty much. Well, at least it's a track we haven't been on.
At least it's not 200cc. You can always look at it that way.
That's true too.
And we get to sit here for another minute. Okay.
Oh, we're fucking young, man. What is the deal?
So, how about the Mariners?
Did the Mariners win?
I have absolutely no idea how well they've... I've not followed the Mariners since
God, it's not
2009, 2010.
Oh, it's all about the Seahawks and how they're fucking it up every week.
Oh, are they doing bad again this year?
Well, I mean, I don't really watch a huge amount. I only go watch it when I'm at my parents' house, and man, they've been fucking around. They've been finding out, let me tell you. They paid millions of dollars. They could play a little better. Like, it's stereotypically wet in Seattle, and yet they fumbled the fucking ball because it slipped out of their hands.
Shouldn't they have an advantage of living here?
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, but you tried doing that. Yeah, I'm not also getting paid millions of dollars to do it.
Yeah. Plus, again, they live in Seattle. They should be used to playing in, wet fields and everything.
Yeah. It's a stereotype for a reason, man. It's perpetually damp for like half the year. Okay.
Lightning.
Oh, it didn't. Okay, so I thought my pea piranha ate the blue shell.
I wish. That'd be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And then I was wrong.
God damn it. Yeah, next race is definitely our last because I am doing really bad tonight.
Fuck.
Hello, fireballs. Of course, on a star.
Fucking hell.
Jeez, that's terrible. Oh.
They really fucked up.
They have something up online.
They fucked
Damn.
up the item boxes. It's ridiculous how many goddamn lightnings there are now.
There are. They have really screwed the pooch. Like, it is bad. Jeez.
So you heard about the whole power button thing on the Mac Mini?
Oh yeah, that's stupid. Hey, we're gonna put it under the thing, but then the gap to like try and reach it is like for a baby finger.
So this guy, it looks like. So show what he did. It looks like he put the whole thing like on a spring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I
think is it the guy who like 3D printed something so then he could just like push it or something?
You just push the whole Mac Mini down and it turns on and off.
That's funny.
It's like on a spring with like a little cylinder that pops and hits the button when you push it down.
Okay. Yes, that is.
Outside of that, though,
you know what I actually somewhat believe is I don't know if it was a YouTuber or something, but somebody had the conspiracy theory that throughout Apple's ages, there's one person working there that
no,
just
no. That's MKBHD.
Oh, was it him? Okay, I because
it's
when
his
I found
whole
it,
job.
Yeah, it's their job to just make something.
Yeah,
to just make something so terrible. And I'm like, you know
like
what? I kind of believe it.
Someone put out a comment. I'm glad you agree. This is probably my lifetime achievement. Outside of that, it's a steal.
It is so 500. Was it $500 for that thing? Yeah.
I think it's like, $5 or $6, and that's a screaming fast computer for that price.
It is, yeah. I got the M4 chip in there, finally up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. The only downside is the storage, but honestly, you could just buy a.
See, on OS X, I can have multiple external drives. See, Sony, it's possible. So
but I think the M4, can't you also switch out the M.2? I saw you could, or something like that. I thought.
It probably soldered to the board.
There's something you can remove in there, or maybe it's the external like M.2 that you can put in there, kind of like what you do with the PS5.
Maybe on the last gen, but I'd be very surprised if the current one allows you to do that. It's so freaking small. Like, it's the size. It's not much bigger than an Apple TV now.
Oh yeah, no, I think, and it's dinky.
Like, I'm not sure if it's even the size of a standard M2 stick.
It's not. It's one of those like almost quarter-sized ones from the looks of it. But anyway, yeah. Regardless, I mean, you just buy some extra storage yourself. Don't pay for the extra Apple storage, and you're good to go, basically.
Too bad I really have no use for it.
I could easily see myself in a couple of years replacing my current M1 chip Mac Mini that I have.
I thought about it as like a living room computer, but my NVIDIA Shield is still kicking somehow.
I think it's still kicking. Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be pushing 6 years old at this point. I mean, it's running the same chip that allegedly was going to be in the Switch, Pro. So it's only like a year or two older than the Switch's. I mean, sorry, a year or two newer than the Switch's CPU. That's how old it is. Still runs in.
We'll have to find out how old the Switch's CPU is going to be. I mean, we obviously know it's not going to be the latest and greatest, but it's.
Did you bail?
Oh no, I accidentally pressed one more. So we'll do one more, and then we'll switch over. Hey, we picked yours. All right. You get final race of the night pick. Go.
Yay.
Okay, I guess stay for another minute.
God.
Oh,
oh, look at that.
Fine. And I don't get my boost. See, it's not the
Did you
DLC cart.
Did you turn the toggle off in between races because you were embarrassed? You did, didn't you? I embarrassed you. It's peer pressure.
Nobody say anything.
It's peer pressure.
Ow. She's being bopped all over the place.
Some guy pushed me in the air and it shot me off the track. I wasn't aware that was even possible.
Yeah. I mean, they must have really hit you hard because... God, jeez. Come on.
You chose another race. Thanks.
I like, yeah, the Ammunition Williams just did that.
Thanks.
I saw that.
Right into a fucking turn.
Get all these crazy good items, and I'm still in 9th place. Okay, 8th place, but still. Holy crap, did I time that star perfectly? Oh, then it bounces me off like that. Okay. Karma!
I do not understand why they thought, let's turn up lightning. That's a good item. Everyone loves lightning.
Okay, Boo, have my triple green shell, I guess. Oh, 3rd. Okay, I'll take it.
Undeserved.
Even though I got the bad start,
Fuck this game, man. Fuck this game.
Ouch. Yeah. Oh.
So
how about we just turn this?
No. The game literally had the race end at 11th, and it said 11th, and then I'm 12th now. And fuck off. And
All
fuck
right.
this game.
We are leaving this. We are leaving this. We're out. We're out.
Jesus Christ. They really did fuck it up with that maintenance.
They did. Holy shit.
Good God.
It's pretty bad. Very, very bad. Okay.
All right, bye-bye. I'm gonna get some more.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Well, let's dive away from the crappy Mario Kart stream and let's talk about some subjects. We got some interesting topics to actually cover because it's been an interesting week for gaming, both good, interesting, and bad interesting in my personal opinion. So let's see here. I'm gonna queue these links up, show you guys exactly what we're talking about. Okay. Sony. I swear, you guys, you never learn your lesson. Then again, no giant company ever learns their lesson, you know? Guys, expect.
All right, back.
Yay! Has returned. All right, we'll do a quick one first, and then we got a long one to go over because there's a lot of stuff to go over.
Okie dokes.
Already done your business, as they say.
Taking care of business.
Blue Light, Yoshi fam, what's going on? You just missed it. We got our asses kicked by a couple of Yoshis in Mario Kart. So, fun times.
Absolutely destroyed. Yep. It was brutal.
Although, to be perfectly honest, I half blame it on Nintendo's crappy maintenance they just had because holy crap.
Yeah, slow to start races and the light is way too high.
Yeah, geez. I mean, we were sitting there for a good minute when it would you'd pop in and then all of a sudden it was just like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. What the heck is going on here? So, not fun at all. So, hope you're doing well there, Yoshi, though. I hope you're having a good, I don't know, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning. I don't know where you are in the world, but I hope you're having a great day. But stay away from Mario Kart Online for right now because it's not that good. Just saying. So, all right. Editors, you know what to do for this one. This will be a pretty short one. So if you go around asking tons and tons of gamers, what are they most looking forward to in 2025? It's, of course, Gollum 2, right? I mean, everyone loved the first Gollum game, so obviously Gollum 2 is going to be great. Oh, and I guess there is technically that game called GTA 6. I guess that would be an okay game for some people. But it is definitely an interesting statement here when we get the CEO of Take-Two saying that they're not worried about GTA 6 performance on Xbox Series S. And that is interesting, to say the least, especially because the Series S has been kind of dragged through the mud these last few months, I would say, especially whenever it came to performance or how something looked. It's just a lot of people wondering why they still require it to be made for the Series S. I mean, we know why, simply because of how Microsoft started off the generation, essentially. But we've had a lot more issues coming from developers and everything saying that they don't like making something for the Series S because when somebody decides to make a game, you decide exactly what type of performance you are looking for from the get-go. And if you have to somehow bring it down from those initial specs or those initial set performance standards that you want right there, it's not fun to do that. And I mean, we saw this especially with something like Baldur's Gate 3, where that game actually got delayed on the Xbox platforms until Microsoft finally came out and said, okay, you know what? You get an exception here. This is what's going to happen. You can release it on Xbox right now and you can release it on the Series S, but you don't have to have the co-op split screen or anything like that, which luckily enough they were able to do, but it was still a little bit late. Then we saw this again with something like Black Myth Wukong, which I'm not believing the whole secret deal with Sony or whatever, because that is just, it doesn't make any sense. I'm still saying that the Series S cannot run Black Myth Wukong. I mean, it barely runs on the PS5. You're telling me that that thing is somehow able to run on the Series S? Nah. I'm calling BS. Especially because, again, you look at the specs and what we see with the Series S, and it's like a shared 10 gigabytes where 2 of that is taken up with the system, memory, essentially, with just dealing with basic stuff that you see on any console. The PS5 and the Series X both do this as well, but they have more RAM to then give to the games, essentially. But with the Series S, not so much. It's a lot less RAM. And so the big question now is, could something like GTA 6 still perform decently well on the Series S when this is being flagshipped as a next gen only game, or a current gen only game, I should say. And it's not even gonna be able to hit 60 FPS on something like the PlayStation 5 Pro, which means that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are definitely not gonna be hitting that 60 FPS unless their performance mode potentially hopefully does that. But most likely than not, it's not gonna sit at a stable 60 FPS is what I would say. So what hope does the Series S have? Unless they are simply saying we're not worried about performance because it's just simply going to be 30 FPS at 1080p or 720p or whatever, right? Because with the Series S, it's then technically upscaled to 1440p. That's essentially what it is. That's the highest resolution that they're going to hit. So the big question is it true? Are they really not that worried about the performance of the Series S because it is going to be such a much lower standard in terms of what it could look like? Or is it still going to chug and set the thing on fire? Especially when we've seen other games that don't run really well on the X and the PS5. And it's like, you really expect the S to? Lemon, what are your takes on this?
I mean, Red Dead 2 still looks really good, and it's a PS4 game. I'm not super duper
I'm pretty sure it's a PS3 game, isn't it?
Red Dead 2. Red Dead 2 is
PlayStation 4. Red Dead 1 is PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Red Dead Redemption's a PS3 game. Red Dead Revolver was a PS2 game.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Deep cut. It's a deep cut.
Deep cut right there.
But no, I don't. I'm not. If there's a developer that could do it, it would be probably Take-Two. Like the wizards on their engine, building this thing out are geniuses. Like the fact that GTA 5 ran as well as it done the PS3 is astounding when it came out. And so yeah, I'm not super worried. It might be kind of blurry. Might look like there's Vaseline on it.
I could definitely see it being blurry. I guess it also depends on how CPU dependent it is compared to GPU dependence. Some people have stated that because this game is not going to be out on PC right now, this is a console only game. I mean, this is pretty normal for all Rockstar games basically, but hopefully maybe they've been able to take that time to really polish, all three versions of the console versions of the game, aka PS5, the Series X, and the Series S. So hopefully they're able to. But I do wonder what the differences will be between the top of the line consoles, aka the X and the PS5, and what is the Series S going to cut out aside from your obvious, it's probably gonna look a little bit blurrier. There's not gonna be as many NPCs on the screen at a time. How fast are the loading times going to be? What about that transition from area to area within the game? That will definitely be interesting because even though it has been quite a long time since GTA 5 released back on the PS3, and was it on the 360? Or was it Xbox One?
It was on 360.
It was on 360. Okay.
It was on 360. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously been a long time since GTA 5 came out, but they have not been working on this game for 10 years. Most likely, I'd say it's probably in development for 4-5 years is what I would personally say. I doubt because after that, then they started doing with the GT Online stuff. They started updating all of that, the microtransaction stuff that they want to. That's why they make a crap ton of money and everything. And then they probably got it going with the PC version. And then obviously they did the PS4 and the Xbox One enhanced versions, or the definitive editions or whatever it was called back then. And then they did the same thing with the PS5 and the Xbox Series S and X. So, a good chunk of that stuff has just simply been re-releasing GTA 5. So I am curious how well it's going to do. I mean, it's still slated for a 2025 release, according to them. But there's also been some rumors about it being delayed until 2026. Maybe. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's also been some comments from other developers saying, hey, we want to stay away from GTA 6. Just release this thing already, because the last thing you want to do is release your game within a week of this game coming out. I mean, the two big games I would say personally for 2025 is going to be Monster Hunter and GTA 6. Again, assuming that GTA 6 still releases, but assuming that it still does.
You know what might come out next year?
What?
Horizon 3.
Oh, God.
Same day as GTA.
God. Yeah.
On it now.
It's going to happen. It happens every single time. The first Horizon Forbidden West, every single time they've released a Horizon game, it is next to some big game. And it's just like, who over at Sony is just making their schedules right now? Like, you have to be so dumb.
I wonder who.
Yeah, geez,
I wonder who keeps hyping up this game.
Couldn't be their new CEO that they currently have right now.
No. Couldn't be that.
Couldn't be him. I mean, he just loves that series as it is, and that's why you currently have, Horizon multiplayer, which is supposed to be like a Monster Hunter take style game, being made still. I don't personally think that game's going to do particularly well. This is my personal honest opinion, because everyone's going to compare it to Monster Hunter. So
which
it's like
new one's coming out next year.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Yeah, and they just had probably one of their most successful open betas, and this game's not releasing until basically March 2025. I know it's like February 28th or something like that, but regardless, March 2025 is when the new Monster Hunter will be releasing, and it's November right now in 2024. That's a good chunk of time to really fix stuff up, which honestly they kind of need to, because there are definitely some weird things with that particular beta. But I wouldn't be surprised if they also did another open beta, would say, February, or not February, I would say January coming around. So we could see potentially something like that. But again, that Horizon multiplayer game is just going to get completely shit on, because it's 100%. Because either A, it's going to be so much like Monster Hunter, and as we all know, with live service games, they don't learn from other people. And so they're going to have the same crappy mistakes that Monster Hunter probably had like 12 years ago or something like that. Or it's going to be something completely different somehow, and it's still probably going to flop, because let's just be perfectly honest, Sony has been terrible with their live service. That's what we'll talk about in a different video. We're going to cover that. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. But regardless, GTA 6, is it going to release in 2025? Hopefully. That's what a lot of people want. But I'm still a little skeptical on how well it can run on the Series S. I'm saying it can't run it all, or, because again, obviously the Series S, it's a budget console. It's meant to be run at lower specs and everything. I've always understood that, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully that the RAM memory that it has is not holding it back too much. So anyone thinking that this game is going to hit 60 FPS on the Series S, don't expect it.
I don't think it's going to hit 60 FPS on any console.
No, it's not. They've already said like it's not even going to hit it on the PS5 Pro, and that as of right now is the most powerful console. So if it ain't hitting it on that, it's not going to hit it on the PS5 base and the Xbox Series X. No way it's hitting it on the S. So anyway, if you ever see a comment online saying it's hitting 60 FPS, no problem on the Series S, just shake your head and block that person, and never read their comments ever again. They need to go to a mental facility.
Yeah, where's that one guy who was going after us for that?
Oh God,
we need him in here. We need to get him in here. Ask his opinion on.
Seriously,
on the Series S.
Trolls, man, trolls be doing so. Anyway, regardless though, let us know your thoughts. Do you think GTA 6 is going to actually release in 2025? Again, most likely it will, but do you think it could get pushed back? Do you think it's going to run well on the Series S? Do you even think it's going to run well on the X and the PS5? I would assume on the X and the PS5, it's probably going to run decently well, probably hitting 30 FPS, 720p, upscaled to 4K type of thing. That'd be my guess, at least. Because with what they've shown in the only one trailer we've seen, they're probably expecting to put a lot on screen, and that is going to make some consoles chug. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. I mean, it's hard to say. So, but yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and hopefully it does okay. Not too long of a video there. That was good. Probably what? 7 minutes?
Before you start, though, update your NVIDIA drivers.
What? I already have, at least a couple days ago I did.
Oh, okay, because I guess there's a security issue with it. I'm looking at VGC, and NVIDIA tells users urgently update their GPU drivers to fix 8 highly severe vulnerabilities.
Okay.
So do it.
I will say, I updated my drivers back on like Friday my time.
Didn't say when they updated these. Push this update. So you probably will be fine.
I mean, I'm probably okay, but I mean, after the stream, I'll check again. But yeah,
could already be compromised. No,
I could be compromised already. People, send your prayers. I'm probably compromised already. All right, let me get some more water actually real quick, and then we'll go into this big. This is gonna be probably a long one. So,
okie dokes.
Okay. Let's get. Oh no, are you here, Lemon, or did Lemon take off?
Yep,
Oh, you're here.
I'm still here.
Okay, I didn't know if you took off for a second or you had to.
Nope.
So, let's see. Oh, we can actually make this. All right, why don't we do this one first? Because I got some choice words for Sony. I've got some choice words for these guys. How are you guys as dumb? Okay. All right, this is gonna be a long one, editor. So hopefully not too long, but regardless, throw all the possible stupid memes that you possibly can at Sony whenever I say something, because oh my gosh, these guys. So okay, has Sony learned from its flop that is already known as Concord? If you obviously don't know what's going on, which I'll be honestly shocked and surprised, Concord has to be probably one of the biggest flops when it comes to not only live service gaming, but just gaming in general. Like, I'm pretty sure the last flop this big was back in the 80s. So that should tell you right now just how bad this game flopped. The fact that it was around for less than 2 weeks and they took it down, refunded everybody, and then the studio itself was then closed down like a month later. And they're just gone. Kaput. Just Concord doesn't exist anymore. And yet somehow this is supposedly supposed to be in Sony's like Amazon little video thing that's coming out in December. Oh boy, that's gonna be a terrible look right there. But anyway, everyone has talked to death about what happened with Concord and everything, why it failed. Nobody wanted it. What was the budget for this thing? Like over $400 million or something like that, reported by Colin Moriarty and everything. And regardless if some of those numbers potentially were off from him, like the lowest it possibly was $200 to $250 million. Try punching that into a calculator right now, by the way. Take your annual salary if you're working, minus that out, and that just shows you how crazy big this number that is, because it's ridiculous. But then again, this is nothing new when it comes to giant companies wasting tons of money, because their investors are also kind of stupid when they say like, yeah, we want this, and then it flops, and they're like, you know what? We'll keep giving you more money to do this again. Whatever it is. But as you might have known if you've been watching us or following us here on Direct Gaming, one of my personal tinfoil hats when it comes to the shakeup that we saw when Jim Ryan left, because if you don't know, Jim Ryan obviously was the one who pushed the live service really heavily, whether it was buying up developers, buying up studios, greenlighting certain projects and everything. I mean, heck, a couple of years ago, they said like, oh yeah, we're going to have 12 live service games by 2026. 2024 right now. It's almost 2025. We have seen 2 of those games. And obviously, a decent amount of them have been stopped, frozen, delayed. A few of them have definitely just been stopped completely, which is good, in my personal opinion. But it's like they're not learning from it. But regardless, though, then we have somebody like Hiroki Totoki who came in and basically analyzed Sony. And one of the things that he did was he analyzed PlayStation. And when he looked at PlayStation, he basically looked at him going like, how much money are you spending right now? Yo, stupid. What is going on here? And again, this is where my tinfoil hat theory comes in, that he probably went up to Jim Ryan and was like, you're going to retire, right? You don't like those long trips on your plane from Europe to Japan to America sometimes. You want to go spend more time with your family. And Jim Ryan was like, yes, I do. And then he left. Because holy crap, if you don't know who Hiroki Totoki is, this guy has been around in Sony for a long time. Like, we're talking 30 plus years here, essentially. And keep in mind, Sony is not just simply PlayStation. They are everything from life insurance, especially over here in Japan, to music, to cameras, to you name it. Sony has a bunch of different areas. They make a good chunk of their money, though, from PlayStation, which is why PlayStation is important to them. So when you have a guy who's a very by-the-books business dude, he has, again, the last 30 years has been trying to push Sony's profits up and up, essentially, have that margin be wider and wider, be around 20%, give or take, not the current 6% that it is right now. And when he saw that 6% and the amount of money they're spending, he's going, what the F are you doing right now? So Jim Ryan goes bye-bye. And then we have two CEOs get hired, essentially. They're doing like this duo CEO thing where you have Herman Holst, who is focusing on the software and the game side of things. And then there's the hardware side from another CEO. I'm blanking on his name currently right now. We'll probably put it up on screen that you can see later on in the edited version of this. But regardless, those two are supposed to be working together. And Hiroki Totoki is definitely keeping an eye on PlayStation, I would say, for a decent amount of time right now, just because of what happened, especially now with what happened with Concord. And he's probably just like, what the F is going on right now? But afterwards, we had the release of Helldivers 2, which did amazingly and probably shocked a lot of people over at Sony going like, whoa, it actually works. And then obviously Concord just balanced that right back out and everything. But there was a Q&A session during a financials call with Sony where, again, they're mostly talking to investors and everything. They're not talking to you. They're not talking to me or anything like that. So just, keep that in mind when it comes to what they're doing. And also keep in mind, they're a business. They don't give two craps about us. They want number to go up with money. That's all they care about. Xbox is the same way. Nintendo's the same way. Every single company imaginable, that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, so just keep that in mind right there. But anyway, during a Q&A session with the latest financial earnings call, Sony management was asked numerous questions about their live service games, which was shut down 11 days after launch. Totoki explained that the company's foray into the live service games is still a learning process and that it will take lessons from what happened with Concord. Quoted, "Currently, we are still in the process of learning," he said via an interpreter. And basically, with regards to new IP, of course, you don't know the result until you actually try it. So for us, for our reflection, we probably need to have a lot of gates, including user testing or internal evaluation and timing of such gates. Now, gates is a kind of an interesting word to use here because another way you can also translate that from Japanese is to say like safety checks or checkpoints, essentially. So that essentially what he's saying is there needs to be more stops and checks, essentially, to make sure that, hey, is this really going to do well? Is this something that the consumer wants type of thing? Like, at face value, that looks potentially like something really good right there. But he continues on saying, and then we need to bring them forward, and we should have done those gates much earlier than we did. Also, we have a organization, so we are going beyond the boundaries of those. Hang on. I'm blanking on this word right here. Hang on. Okay, yeah. So bottom line, he's spewing a lot of nonsense right here. So, okay, sure. So, with all that being said, they have not learned anything. He says currently right here, we launched 2 live service games this year. Helldivers 2 was a huge hit, while Concord ended up being shut down. We gained a lot of experience and learned a lot from both. We intend to share the lessons learned with our successes and failures across our studios, including in the areas of title development management, as well as the process of continually adding, expand content, and scaling the service after its release, so it is to strengthen our development management system. So, for anyone hoping that Sony was going to look at this and be like, okay, no more live service games, we're going to go full into our single player like beforehand, don't get your hopes up, because guess what? They're still going to be doing it. I mean, we still have that Fairbank game coming out, Fairbanks, or technically Fairbank with $sign at the end of it, which is honestly so laughable. I mean, that trailer has been not review bombed, but dislike bombed into infinity, essentially. So I don't know what Sony hopes with a particular game like that when nobody wants it, essentially. And then we also have Marathon coming out, which they still have yet to show any gameplay. Supposedly they're supposed to be showing gameplay in 2025, which is also supposed to be when it releases. And Bungie had that random little video where they're like, yeah, we're not ready to show anything, but we have a couple of classes that are looking good, and we're really excited to show you what we have later on. And everyone was just like, okay, doesn't really make any difference or anything like that. So, care to explain? And nothing. We haven't heard anything, obviously, since. So, Marathon, a lot of people are expecting to basically flop. People are expecting Fair Games to flop. And obviously, we haven't had any single-player games in terms of exclusives or anything this particular year, which we knew already. A lot is due to how 2021, 2022 happened. And then 2023 only really had Spider-Man. And then 2024 had a ton of great games in terms of third-party exclusives, but not necessarily as Sony first-party exclusive. Those are all going to be releasing from March 2025 and on, which, because obviously you need time to make these games and everything. We have Ghost of Yotei coming out hopefully next year soon, assuming that doesn't get delayed. But while I understand that Totoki here he's not a gamer, he's a business guy. He's going to say whatever makes the investors the most happy to show them that, hey, we can do this. We did it once, and then we flopped after that. But regardless, we still made this somewhat work. Why he's not taking a much deeper like stance on saying like, no, we are going to cut down even more of these live service games. Like, I get the feeling that Herman Hulse is really pushing like, no, our live service game for the Horizon universe is going to do well. It's my baby. I want it. Yeah, Concord was also supposed to be his Star Wars baby, according to insider reporting. And yeah, look how well that turned out there, Hulse. It's ain't looking too good. So Horizon, I really don't have any hope for that personally. But before I continue on about certain games and everything like that, Lemon, are you super shocked about this? I would hope not, but let me know. What are your thoughts on this right now? Because this just makes me scratch my eyes. I get a migraine whenever I see something like this. This stupidity just happening right now. And I get it. Again, big companies, they only care about investors and all that stuff. But what are your thoughts on this?
So you were on such a rule I didn't want to interrupt. First, this whole thing reeks of typical. You're speaking to investors and you don't want to scare them. Exactly. I don't think they would ever say anything that bombastic to say we're done with live services. That I think would be something you'd have to kind of, leak's not the right word, but just slowly prime the pump for it and kind of
ease them into it essentially. Yeah.
But this is just a tax write-off. They sit in. I don't understand the paragraph about the whole, so for us as a reflection, we probably need to have a lot of gates. Like, you had a gate, you saw that the gate broke and no one liked the beta and it was lambasted as it came out that people aren't playing it. And you thought, all right, this is not going well. Throw it out.
Well, my assumption would be that gate section right there, or those checks essentially, is way earlier than a beta, because at that point you almost have to release it essentially. Like, I would assume, I would hope, I know it's a big assumption right here, that those checks would be like pre-alpha stages, like when it's kind of getting its footing going before you really jump into production. So pre-production essentially. Like, if he's talking about having checks that early, I'm all for that. I really am. But then again,
the game wasn't bad though. That's the problem. This isn't like Gollum or something where it was a dumpster fire from the moment you saw it. This was a competent game. It worked. It just wasn't interesting.
Right. Well, that's,
I don't really suss that out that early.
Well, one thing that I think, what did he say here? He said, including user testing. So that user testing, in my personal opinion, you would need to be bringing people in from the outside. Because I guarantee if you'd actually brought people from the outside, not business people, like actual people who cover games and everything, they tell you like, it's a competent shooter, but I don't know anyone who's really going to play this or anything. And it really makes me wonder if this is that whole like toxic positivity thing. Is it that Herman Hulse really just keeps pushing for these things? Because the dude has definitely, he is not the lower position than the CEO like Jim Ryan was. He is in the chair now. And so everyone's eyes are on him. And if he keeps greenlighting this stuff or saying, no, this is definitely going to work, and then none of it works, his ass is going to be out of there faster than Jim Ryan. So, like,
I don't think, so Sony's in an interesting position now because Microsoft's kind of bowed out and just kind of chasing their tail at this point. So Sony can afford to flounder a bit. They can't be burning that kind of money, but I think we're going to start seeing less big games out of Sony for a while, because I guarantee you this is a pipeline issue. Mm-hmm. There is something very wrong going on in the internal development studios at Sony right now, just because We haven't seen anything from Night. Allegedly, the live service thing.
Which we know they
But-
spent 4 to 5 years on. So when they said that they're not going to be doing that now, they're starting from scratch on whatever they're working on, which is easily going to be 4 to 5 years. So when they initially canceled that live service online multiplayer game, that was back in 2023, if I remember correctly. So even if they started right away from that point making something new, we're not going to see something until 2028 potentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, we're not. The PS5 as a generation's not going to be solid for Sony. They're just not going to have a presence, which is why they're throwing money at, say, Square Enix to, hey, don't put Final Fantasy on Xbox.
Yeah. Even though we already know it's not going to sell well there anyway.
It doesn't need to sell well. Microsoft loves throwing money at things that aren't going to sell for them.
Very true.
They've been doing that. They've been doing that for the last 10 years.
Very true. Although, funny enough, they could easily throw more money at Square, and Square would be like,
well, I think that's what they did. I mean, I really do think we're going to start seeing a lot more stuff from Square Enix because nothing sells well according to them. So
no, nothing
they
ever,
need money up
nothing
front.
ever does. But the thing, well, okay, I mean, we're getting off topic with the whole Square Enix thing, but regardless, like, Square Enix games just don't sell well on Xbox regardless. And Square Enix, even though Square Enix has now said, obviously, for a long time that they're going to go completely multi-platform, they're going to find out real quick, I think, that PC is going to work out, Switch is going to work out, PlayStation will still work out, Xbox, probably not so much. It's just, I think, the truth when it comes to Final Fantasy stuff, and especially with the tone of, oh, it's not on Game Pass, so I'm not going to buy it. But regardless, we're getting off topic there. But
Sorry.
Going back to, yeah, Sony's pipeline and everything like that, it's not looking good essentially right now. Now, we obviously knew that in 2024 there were not going to be any first-party games because they already said that and everything. Starting from March 2025, they are going to then start having more of those games, which we already saw with Yote. Most likely there'll be another one, would be my assumption, whether it's something from one of the other studios. But because of how long it takes to make these games, I'm not really that shocked at it. But the perception from the consumers, but be those gamers, casual gamers, you name it, is that overall it feels like there's not much there, even though there are a ton of great games out right now in terms of just games in general. When people buy consoles, they're mostly looking for those first party exclusives. And the first couple of years with PlayStation 5 was either you couldn't find a PlayStation 5, so you can't even play any exclusive they had, whether it was like Returnal or Ratchet and Clank. Then you had some other first party games in like 2022 that were cross-gen. So they are made for PS4 and then upped for PS5. So Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, that kind of stuff. Then in 2023, we finally started to see something like Spider-Man 2. And then we also had, Helldivers release in early 2024. But that's basically been about it. Again, there's been other exclusives and everything that are more third party. But in terms of the Sony PlayStation exclusive first party games, there's not much. Now, obviously, we have Yote coming up. And with the typical timeline with consoles, we're expecting probably 2028 is when the PS6 will be released. Just as a wild guess, maybe it's longer. But, either they have to really hit home runs back to back to back to back from 2025 until 2028. But if there's still so much focus on these live service games, especially when we see Fairbanks and Marathon, which Marathon, to be fair, is going to every platform because how Bungie, made all that stuff. I don't know how it's going to be interesting to see how history looks back on the PS5. If they keep their current, it is. It's as much as I love playing games on my PS5. Yeah, if you look at it from a strict first party thing, it's not going to look well for them. I mean, heck, this whole generation isn't looking good. People are looking down on the Xbox. People are looking down on the PlayStation 5. Like, the only thing that's still good this generation is the Switch. But then again, the Switch came out back in 2017. And then
it's a ringer.
It's a ringer, right? And so, and with the Switch 2 announcement coming up, probably in like February 2025 would be my guess. They're going to wait till after the holidays, obviously, to try and break that PlayStation 2 record, of how many Switches are sold. That will be fine. It's Nintendo, right? But with the way, whether it's how long it takes to make games, how well they run, the lack of bug fixes and everything, the polish that's there, the just crappy live service games in general that we've mentioned multiple times beforehand, feeling like players are getting nickel and dime for everything, even when it comes to the console itself, like the stand and the disk drive and everything. It doesn't reflect well in the long run, especially when you have hard economic times around the world, whether it was due to the inflation because of the pandemic and everything, or just simply, consumers, pay, the amount of money they make hasn't gone up, or it's not keeping up with inflation or anything like that. Again, tons of different reasons, but the perception is still going to be it's not going to look that good for them. And does something like the PlayStation 6 and Xbox, insert whatever name they have here, fix that? Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect, really. I mean, Lemon, what are your thoughts?
I think sticking to Sony here, they really kind of flubbed live services. Now they're kind of in a state of, we need to, the emergency button, hit the button. We need to do something. We need to course correct. We need to course correct now. Yeah. It would not surprise me if Insomniac, who's the current GOAT for Sony, they're the only ones who can at this point perform. Mm-hmm. At least right now, because they keep pumping games out at a stupid rate. It would not surprise me if they cut the DLC for Spider-Man 2 to speed up development for 3, right? Because they need it now, because their pipeline's screwed. They don't have Naughty Dog anymore, effectively, this generation. Yeah. Santa Monica probably might get something out.
I think they could get something out around 2027. I had to take a guess.
So that's 3 years out.
Right, so that's still 3 years out. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to expect with Insomniac personally, because while I know everyone was bashing them online about saying, like, how could you not put DLC out and everything, when in reality, and we talked about this already beforehand, we don't know how well the DLC did for the first game of Spider-Man, right? How, again, does it make financial sense to make a DLC for Spider-Man 2, or would it make just more sense to mush that in together with whatever 3 is going to be? Because making something like Spider-Man is very different from making your own IP game, because you also have to worry about paying Disney and all that stuff. So we don't know about that stuff. And again, we've talked about that before here on past streams and videos and everything, where we just don't know what to expect from that. We don't know the internal numbers of all that stuff. So would a DLC on Spider-Man 2 have, really made it in the eyes of the consumer so much better? Probably not. I mean, in the end, Spider-Man 2 was a good game. It wasn't anything special. It's just more Spider-Man, essentially.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying they're pulling resources off of what might have been DLC for 2, pulling resources off that to put something more lucrative for the next Spider-Man or a different project for Insomniac.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
They do have multiple teams.
I would not be surprised about that at all. So
they need stuff quicker.
They do.
Because Sony's not in a good position.
Right. And then you can basically put that to almost any company at this point, though, that makes games, because we've gone from making games in 2 to 3 years, and now it takes 4, 5, 6, 7 years sometimes to make these games. Call it what you will. Part of it is definitely trying to hit those higher fidelity levels, ray tracing, put them on multiple platforms at that fidelity. I mean, again, what we see now compared to what we saw even back on the PS3, those are, they're vastly different levels in terms of what is being put on screen right there. And that takes more time, more manpower and everything, which is why we've obviously seen things like upscaling, take off over the last few years, because that probably makes it a lot easier than really trying to nail down every single issue that you see there and everything. So,
yeah.
So I don't know. It will be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years. I mean, at least they're saying right now that, we're getting more single player games and everything like that, which we already knew because of how time works, essentially. But I don't have hope for their live service stuff, which then again, I'm all live serviced out. I don't give 2 Fs about live service games. Every time I see one, doesn't matter who it's from. It could be from EA, it could be from Xbox, PlayStation. I just roll my eyes, honestly, every single time I see it. I mean, heck, I don't even play, like, the only live service quote unquote game that I play is the finals, and that's maybe once every couple weeks. And that's it. Just because it's got good destruction and fun gameplay. But I don't play Destiny anymore. I don't play Overwatch anymore. I'm not touching Call of Duty. Like, Yeah, I'm not touching any of that stuff. So it
Yep.
will be interesting to see what happens. So hopefully things turn around. I don't want obviously all these, development teams to get canned and axed and everything, because in the end, they're the ones who do get axed. It's not the higher ups that get axed. I mean, again, Jim Ryan, he sailed off with his golden parachute. Nothing happened
Well, that's
to him.
what any CEO does.
Oh yeah, no,
Nothing's gonna happen to any of them.
Oh yeah, no, that's my point though. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that they're never affected, even though they're the ones making the terrible ideas and everything like that. We could see Herman Hulse get axed in like 2027, 2028 or whatever. He's going to be completely fine. Guerrilla Games, on the other hand,
they should consider that. Okay.
I mean, God, that would require you to bring in somebody who is a good combo. Honestly, you know what Sony probably needs to do? They need to do a triple CEO combination. Somebody who works on the hardware, who they currently have right now. Then in terms of the software and the games, they need somebody they need two people that can work together, that know how a business runs, but also knows what the gamers wants. Because I think what Xbox did somewhat with Phil Spencer, he was a developer first, right? If I remember correctly. And so he's always been a quote unquote gamer and everything like that, but he's never known how the business side of things run. And you always see them clashing with like his other higher ups and everything. So I feel like Sony needs to have two people that can somehow work together in terms of the software side of things, aka the games, but also make sure that it makes sense financially, business wise. I think if they did something like that, that could potentially do something really good.
Yeah, they need Reggie. That's what they need.
They need Reggie to come back. And Bobby, yes. How's it going, my man? How is it going?
It's going.
You were the one who originally sent us this article and everything. And what do you think? Sony ain't learning no lessons in my book personally, but I don't know. What are your personal thoughts? Do you think they learned any lessons? No.
I think them saying like, I mean, they're being real. They're like, I'm trying to remember. They say like, hey, we're still doing live service, but we're going to focus more on like making sure that the big first party single players are still there for you.
Yeah. So the long story short, they're obviously still focusing on both live service and single player games. But the big thing with the live service stuff is to have more checks and to make sure that earlier on things are caught and not, hey, we're only finding out about this now at the beta. So that's the hope, at least.
Yeah, I don't know what they like. Yeah, did they just? My question about that is, did they just like buy Firewalk and just go, yeah, cool, like whatever?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck were they doing?
I don't know. I mean, based on what we saw from like Colin Moriarty's source and everything and other reportings, is that this was supposed to be Herman Hulse's Star Wars baby, essentially.
Well, yeah, because like we heard that Herman Hulse saw something super early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And that, like, I don't know. With that, it just seems like he saw something, or maybe he saw like some concept art and was like, this could be really rad. And then they put it together and made it like, okay, so you guys know I liked Concord, right? I actually really loved it because I'm old and it was like straight up like boomer shooter, old school Halo, like early Destiny vibe. And I dig that. Like, I'm okay with that. And I like that kind of like slower pace shooter. But like nobody else liked that game. I'm realistic about it. Like, and it went away. So it sucks, but that's just the market spoke.
I wonder if he saw because there's that concept art that started spilling out onto the internet after the game was canceled and everything, and a lot of people were like, that actually looks decent. That actually looks good. Like some of the concept art and everything. So maybe
that's what I'm saying. Like,
right. So maybe Herman saw that along with whatever they initially had planned, but due to how long this game was in development for what? 8 years or something like that?
No, it was not, Talon. No, it was not.
Well, no, okay.
Come on
okay. Not full
they
development.
Said it was in full development for 2 years. They said there was like, the scribblings on a napkin 8 years ago.
Right, 8 years
when
ago.
When they finally put together the studio
and
to start it, that was like ago?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
4 years?
Yeah, it was there was like the first few employees like 6 years ago. Then they started actually getting the studio together 4 years ago. And then they said the game started actually being really made like 2.5 years ago.
Okay. So regardless though, sometime between that napkin scribble stuff to it being made, there should have been a lot more like, is this actually going to work out well? Should we be looking at what is currently going on? Because part of it also feels like, this was an initial response to Overwatch being released, if I remember correctly, right? And then wanting to make some kind of shooter in that realm. Yeah,
when we hear 8 years, that's when Overwatch came out, and it's probably that's when the napkin scribbling started. And we're like, wouldn't it be cool to make this type of game? Like, let's think about that. And then, they went through a couple years and all that. What it just sounds like to me is it sounds like the same shit that happened with Redfall, though. It's like they had an early idea and we're like, cool, live service, it's going to make money.
Yep.
It's good, whatever. Like, cool, just do it. Throw it together. Whatever, fuck it. We're not going to check. Just do it.
Yep.
And Firewalk also, like, the big thing that I absolutely hated hearing, because I fucking hate hearing this. And Lemon, you could back me up. Is the blank magic. Like, they thought they had like the BioWare magic, the Bungie magic, that kind of shit. The toxic positivity of like, no, this is gonna be great, man. Yep. It's gonna be great. It's like, ugh, who the fuck? Like, who the fuck thinks like that? Like, you gotta take a step back and go like, is this good or is this ass? Like,
well, I mean, that's what people did with Death Stranding. I mean, it has to be good. Has to be magical. It's a Kojima game. And what do we get? A fucking goddamn USPS simulator.
Hey,
what is this shit?
Hey, Lemon, come on now. The Xbox fans are so happy right now that they have that walking simulator. After talking
their
shit.
Are they even buying it? Wait, hasn't that game been on PC already for a few years?
If it's on Xbox, people don't buy it. We've gone through this already.
I know. We've gone through it multiple times.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass.
No, it was on PC Game Pass.
Yeah, well, Game Pass Ultimate.
Not on Xbox Game Pass.
It will be soon, though.
I would hope so. Give Kojima some money. God damn.
Because Kojima owns the license to it now, or his studio does. So
yeah. They're like Sony's putting all their games on third party, and it's like, dude, Kojima bought the IP back.
Yeah.
Sony's probably like, yeah, we'll sell you your IP. Give us like 20 million. He was like, fuck it, okay. Whatever.
Well, now he's working on Death Stranding 2. He's also working on that Xbox exclusive game. So
that's part of that $6.8 trillion they spent on Concord made back. Right.
Little by little.
That fucking Concord number just keeps getting so goddamn inflated. Like, it cracks me up.
Well, you mentioned beforehand, like, take your annual salary for anyone who's watching this. Take your annual salary, minus it from, you know what? You can minus it from $200 million. Heck, minus it from $400 million, whichever number you want to pick. Like, that just shows you how much money, like, they're just willing to just basically throw into the fire at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They fucked up, and as long as they recognize they fucked up, I think that's the important thing.
I wonder how it's going to affect Fair Games or something like that. A steal from the rich thing. Like, I'm just like, there's no way.
Yeah, I would not be shocked if they
cancel it.
If they cancel that and Marathon.
Like,
if they do a beta of Marathon and it goes that way, I mean, I don't think a beta of Marathon will go that bad, but if they do, let's say they do 2 betas like they did with Concord, right? And Marathon didn't, like the first, because it's Bungie, it's attached to Bungie, right? So it's gonna get players. But then the second time they do it, it like drops by like 90%. They're gonna kill that game. Like, they're gonna just be like, okay, we're writing it off. Fuck it, we're not releasing this.
And then I think at that point, Sony will fully take over Bungie. I think they.
They would, and then Fair Games would just be snuffed out too. They would not cancel it again. The thing with live service games that these companies don't understand is that there is a ton of room for PvE still. If you can create a unique experience that speaks to people, whether that is like with the First Descendant waifu simulator or with Helldivers, just goofy ass fun, right? There's a lot of in the PvE space that can be messed around with, and you could create fun experiences for people and get a set of players, right? Sea of Thieves still has players, sort of.
Well, then you also have, I
but
mean, just your Warhammer, right?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Warhammer's not really a live service.
It's not really a live
they're
service game, but it really delves into that kind of more PvE style thing. Like, I know they've got a PvE
yes.
section to it, but they've got a lot of PvE stuff, which I
And
think
that-
has worked out
and
really
that's
well
what
for them.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that Spider-Man game could have actually done really well, I think, and I don't know why they just bailed on it.
Probably cost, honestly, infrastructure, servers, all that stuff. I think personally.
Yeah, but if you got Spider-Man, like that shit's gonna sell. I don't give a fuck. Like you put a Spider-Man multiplayer game and you let someone like play as Peter, play as Penny, you know, play as Ben Riley, play as Miles, right? Play as Gwen Stacy, and then you can buy all their costumes. That is gonna make a fuck ton of money. Like that is gonna make so much money their heads would be spinning. And they just were like, no, I guess not. It's like
Maybe
what
they
are
try to
you
go more into the
doing?
Horizon stuff or something. Or again, they really thought Concord was gonna be better than Spider-Man. Who knows?
I mean,
Yeah, it's wild. What were we gonna say, Lemon?
honestly, isn't that the issue with like Avengers though? Avengers should have printed money, it didn't. Like,
Yeah, but
there is a limit.
Avengers got a bad rap from the beginning because Spider-Man, right, comes out. First of all, Spider-Man is leaps and bounds the most fucking popular superhero in the planet. Like by by
I don't
multiple.
know.
No,
Batman?
No, Spider-Man is the most popular superhero on the planet.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
by like a multitude of like 2.5 or something. Even over Batman and Superman.
Really? Over Batman? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Spider-Man is the biggest earning superhero by a wide margin. The most popular superhero by a wide margin. It's pretty wild. And like I know, like I'm a Spider-Man like fanboy. I've loved Spider-Man since I was a kid.
So you're
Like,
biased. Okay.
I am 100% biased. But them's the facts, okay?
I mean, it is. I mean, if you like, any country I've ever traveled to and everything, I always try to find like game stores or any kind of like, you know, what you call nerdy stores, essentially, just for fun. Just to see what other, you know, things are out there and everything. Spider-Man is always popular. I mean, even over here in Japan, when I went to Thailand before, going over to Singapore, like Spider-Man is super popular.
Yeah, they had Spider-Man movies in Japan in like the 70s, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even make their own. They even make their own Spider-Man Japan only TV shows over here. So, yeah.
Like Spider-Man is insanely popular, right? So Spider-Man has that going for it. It also had several super successful single player games already, right? Avengers didn't have that. And if Avengers, they had done one or two single player stories and then been like, okay, hey, we're also going to have a multiplayer game where you can kind of go do missions together with friends. I feel like introducing that later like that would have been much more successful.
Don't worry, it would not have hit Square Enix's projected goals, though.
No, like nothing. Like Call of Duty doesn't hit Square Enix's projected goals. Like they'd be like, Square Enix would release Hogwarts Legacy and be like, we are very disappointed.
We're very disappointed. $20 billion made.
Yeah, we sold like 35
sad.
million copies and it fell short of our expectations.
Oh, guys, they boycotted Hogwarts Legacy. It didn't sell well at all.
The thing with Square is they just need to get their shit in check. It's like you guys like the day of Square being like one of the biggest video game companies in the world in terms of like their sales and stuff, that has been over for 15 years.
It's been over for a long time.
It's been over for a long ass time, and it's like that doesn't mean you have to like make shit games or only make the HD 2D. But like, keep that expectation check. Like, if you're gonna make a Final Fantasy 16, understand that you're probably gonna sell like 5 million copies in the first 2-3 years.
You know what's interesting is that in the last year, the Final Fantasy brand itself went up from 185 million units sold to 197, I think, or something like that. I'm a little off on those numbers, but bottom line, it jumped about 10 million, I believe, give or take, if I'm doing my math correctly.
10 million, and that's with the release of Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy Rebirth,
that's Pixel
16.
Remaster, 16 on PC, and Rebirth. Those basic 3 games.
Yeah.
Because it's going from November of last year to November of this year, right? So Final Fantasy 16 was already out on the PlayStation 5 because that came out back during June.
Yeah, so that means they're still selling that too.
Right. So it's on that too. So out of those 4 main games right there, a Pixel Remaster, Rebirth, 16 PS5, and 16 PC, right? That tells me that those games overall do sell well. They're just not hitting those crazy numbers because Square still thinks they're in some, 1999 era of gaming still, where they are at the top essentially. When in reality, they're not. They make good games, as we saw clearly this year, but their expectations are just stupid crazy. Their scheduling also is atrocious, with what they're trying to do. And as he's also said before, their single player games selling well are not balancing their crap flops and everything. Be it I don't even remember the names of the games because they're so bad, essentially.
Well,
so.
Yeah, the problem is too, they're investing in stuff that just actively just gets fucked. Like Avengers, that was that fucked up. Like I loved Avengers, you guys know that, but like that game got fucked. What's it? Foam Stars got fucked.
Foam Stars, that's what it was. Yeah.
They just had some pretty high profile. What was it? Forspoken? Wasn't that them?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Flops,
so like, yeah, and it's like, and I don't think. Foam Stars is pretty bad, but like, I don't think Forspoken was like the worst game of all time. Not even close. And I don't think that Avengers was the worst game of all time. For Avengers, I put like hundreds of hours in that game. It was fun for me because I like live service. I like comic book characters, and I was like, oh, I can be Captain America, and then I can be Iron Man, and then I can be Thor, and they all play differently, and I can do these missions and get gear, which is like part of, that's me, Borderlands and Destiny shit that I like to play. So like all that like ticked my boxes, right? But like again, people didn't really like it. I wish they had, because they would have put more time and money into making content for it, which I think would have helped it. But, it just didn't work out for them. And so now they're like, well, because of that, we needed Final Fantasy 16 to sell like 15 million copies of first year.
When in reality, it was never going to sell that much.
Yeah.
It just never was.
And it's like, well, you can't expect these games, which they are fucking fantastic. Like I'm finally, I got the Pro. We'll talk about this later, I assume. Yes. I'm finally playing Rebirth again because the second I saw the Pro and saw the Rebirth improvements, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm waiting for the Pro. Like, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, God damn, this game is fucking insanely good. And it looks incredible. And I'm so very happy that I waited, because now I didn't go through like a 200-hour fucking game looking like someone had smeared Vaseline on my screen. But yeah, like they need to just get their expectations in check and not count on Final Fantasy to save them from all their fucking mistakes. Like Final Fantasy is a fantastic brand. They need to really solidify what they're doing with it, but they have such a solid brand, and they're like counting on it to save you from every shitty decision you make. It's just gonna fuck you up. Like
it is. What they really need to do as well, and I've said this multiple times already, they need to get a dedicated PC team that allows them to be able to release those big games on PC. Because if you don't, even though they have stated they're going to go multi-platform, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change if the PC version of your game is going to get delayed. I mean, especially it feels like 16 definitely had some issues with its PC port, because we've known about the PC port way before it got released. And so they need to be able to fix that, because a lot of actually, it's funny enough, a lot of their exclusives actually go over to Switch. It's the big flashy ones that go exclusive to PlayStation 5 in the past. So, but again, they need to have a dedicated PC team or some kind of team that works on making sure it's ready to go on other platforms at good performance levels and everything. I simply say PC because, of how just PC ports are in general, how bad they can be sometimes, and the fact that there are so many configurations with how setups are that you need to be able to somehow, accommodate for all that stuff. So they need to be able to do that.
I was gonna say, like, my experience with the PC port was fantastic.
It was.
I didn't play
It was,
a ton. I played like 3-4 hours, but
I'm
I
not
was
saying
like, oh, this
16's
is
PC port was bad or anything. I'm simply saying that the time that they announced that it was coming to when it finally released, it was like that took a little bit longer than, you know, you kept saying like, oh, it's almost here, like we're just nailing down these things and everything like that. And if they're going to be trying to do multi-platform releases, you've got to be able to release that stuff at the same time, because hopefully you
wait, why do they have to release it at the same time? They just double dip.
tell that to the sales of Final Fantasy 16 on PC. Based on just the reviews alone, it doesn't look like they've sold much.
I can't imagine that there's a huge amount of money porting a Final Fantasy game like that, as big and expensive as it is to PC. Like I'd be skeptical that the money would be there for them to really throw too much money at it.
one thing that does concern me is we've seen how much they're struggling with making these big ass epic games. As much as I'm loving Rebirth, and I fucking love 16. Like, people can talk their shit. 10, you fuck. Sorry. I love 16. I think 16 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy stories of all time.
It's a great game.
The only thing 16 really needed was RPG stuff, like elemental attacks, having like effects on other elements and stuff. Like, it needed that RPG stuff. But I thought the combat system was super like fun and flowy, and I don't understand how anyone who likes action games didn't like it. That's me personally. But with all that being said, like, there's very clearly performance issues on base PS5 for Final Fantasy. The Pro is able to brute force it. I have found one area, and it's you know, the town that gets like all fucked up. Like, you go there and it's kind of like built around like a pool, and then you go back and like everyone's been murdered and it's covered in like fog and like stuff like that. Like, right, it's like right by the vineyard area.
Yes, I remember.
I forget what it's called. Like, I remember the vineyard area being really problematic because there's just so many like leaves and like the
all the effects and everything.
All the stuff going on. And so I loaded into that. And I was like, oh, this is like, it's running fucking perfectly. Like, I was like, oh my god. Like, and then I just kept going and ended up getting into the area with like all that fog and the water and stuff. And there I started to see a tiny bit of chug, and I was like, damn, like, the rest of it looks so good, but damn, I found a spot where it's going to chug a little bit. And I'm sure there's other ones because it's a huge game. But overall, the performance is so much better. Just brute forcing. I am fingers crossed that they actually do a pro patch for that game, because that would be awesome. And the same thing with Elden Ring. Like, I'm playing it now just to try it out, see how it goes. And I'm running around... what's the starting area? Lemon, do you remember what the starting area is called? No.
Oh man! So you're talking like right when you get out of the
when you walk out of the crypt or whatever, and you like, it's the famous big open world shot, like the Breath of the Wild shot.
Exactly. You're talking. What is it called? Some really weirdly generic name.
Yeah, but it's that area, and I'm going back to it because, you know, with all the like the foliage and stuff, that's always a problematic area. And I'm doing it after the trees burn down because it's like my third playthrough save, so I can get my platinum. Mm-hmm. But I was running around that, and it's like perfect, and it's in quality mode. It's perfect. And I'm like, I'm sure it's dipping under 60, but because the VRR covers it, I'm not noticing it all.
Nice.
Which is it's really, really nice. That being said, like, okay, so I wanted to ask you guys, because we're talking about Square and their expectations and fucking up. What about Warner saying, hey, we're just going to double down on like Hogwarts and Batman?
Well, after their Smash Brothers clone fighting game has now flopped for them, their live service for the Suicide Squad has flopped for them. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at what they're doing. So
I tried to log in to play Suicide Squad, and I just couldn't. This shit just depresses me, man. Like, because they were like, we've learned so much from other live service games, and we're gonna do this and this. It's like, you didn't do shit for this game. Like Avengers, when that came out with the Wakanda expansion, right? There was new stuff like new mission types and structure, and they built it so that like the new missions had like their own stories that they would tell in them rather than be kind of generic. I was like, okay, it's a good start. Like, I was looking forward to hopefully them doing another expansion. Like, there was rumors of like Captain Marvel or Doctor Strange as an expansion coming up. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, they got good stuff here. And then they just didn't make the money to keep it going, so it died. Suicide Squad, sad. Just like they made all the seasons with that 1 year delay they had, and they're all the fucking same, and everything's the fucking same except it literally just has like new coat of paint. You know?
I heard that that latest one was pretty bad. It was like just the dialogue alone pretty cheesy.
I didn't even play it. I was trying to catch up today, and I was just like, I can't. It's just fucking depressing. Like, it's just depressing me that like the season 0, like when it started, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, let's see how this evolves. Then season 1 comes out, whatever, episode 1 or whatever, however they call it. It's like 2 episodes is each season, right? So it's episode 1 comes out, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's like a whole new overworld. Awesome. Everything's like Joker themed. Cool. Let's see what new missions they do. Oh, there's not really any new missions. It's just the exact same loop, like exactly the same.
Yeah, it was.
I'm like, even fucking Bungie with Destiny, they try and come up with a new fucking activity every time.
Yeah,
and like
at least add in a couple things to the route you're taking so that you're not literally going down the same road every single time. Like,
yeah, and
at least the bare minimum.
And it's even like, oh, it's like they take you to the Elseworld, which is like the other dimension, and that, you know, this one's Joker themed because that's where Joker comes from, and this one's Mrs. Freeze themed because that's where she comes from. And it's like, this is the same shit, but you put like ice on things. It's the same level.
It's totally different.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's like, man, this shit is depressing. Like, you guys didn't even fucking try. You know, but like what sucks is that they do try with stuff like that, even though Suicide Squad is very clearly half-assed and they didn't know what they were doing, you know. But hearing them go, well, fuck it, we'll just make more Batman. That's kind of depressing too.
Well, although considering the fact that the team that made those Batman games, they're not around anymore. No. So, what, you're gonna get your live service team to make a single-player Batman game now? That's not what they applied for.
That's how it works. So, like, no, here's the thing is that the team that applied for Suicide Squad, they probably were like, oh shit, we're gonna get to make a Batman.
Right.
And then they're like, nah, we're doing fucking live service. And they were like, oh, kind of like Arcane, right?
Oh yeah, Arcane. God.
And
rest in peace.
You know, like it's just sad because, like, you know, like Hogwarts was good. Yeah, it wasn't great. Like, people were like, "Game of the year." Nah, it's a
game
fine
of the year. Yeah,
it's
like those people saying Black Myth Wukong game. Like, no, it's a game.
Yeah, it's like it's a good first game, good first outing. Yeah. Good job, Slugger.
Yep.
Let's get it. Let's do it better next time. Like, really great. The thing that worries me about Hogwarts is like Hogwarts. The biggest part of Hogwarts for any goddamn Harry Potter fan was
just being a wizard in that world and going around the world essentially.
It was the unforgivable curses. That's what it was.
No, it was the fucking castle. And it's like, what are you going to do when the castle, because just that's the nature of the castle, it's going to be the same in the next one.
Yep.
You can't change it because it's Hogwarts fucking castle.
Yep. So evil castle. It's like the inverse of it.
Yeah, are you going to, the Dark World, like fucking Link to the Past?
Exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do? And I was like, you have every part of the castle in there. And that was part of the magic of that game, no pun intended. Like, was that, like, you could, like, as a Harry Potter fan, who's I've loved Harry Potter for a long time, even though I don't agree with the creator on some things, you know, you grow up with that IP and you see it and you get to like be in that world that you grew up loving, and it's fucking cool. Like, it's a cool thing to be able to do. But like next time I'm like, okay, so what can
what's
you possibly,
new? What's going to draw you in this time essentially?
Yeah, what can you possibly do? Because even in the stories that they show, they used all the places from the movies.
They used all the places from the movies. They tried to expand the grounds that is around Hogwarts, but again, they've already done that now. And the story basically ends like as a quote unquote satisfying ending. Maybe, you know, obviously there's more to obviously see in the world and everything, but like they've covered their basis because this was just meant to be, I think, originally just a video game in the Harry Potter world. Like that's basically it. So now that they saw how successful it is, they're going to try and make a sequel, a follow-up, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, okay, how do you make it? How do you get people to come back when a lot of them might be like, I already own Hogwarts Legacy, so what's going to draw me to buy your sequel? Again,
yeah, that's
part
what
of
I
it.
worry
Part
about.
of it will be IP. You know, people are just going to buy. They're like, oh, new Harry Potter game, let's do it. But a good chunk of people are going to be like, okay, but I already have your game right here. So, so
and then Arkham, like you cannot do Arkham without Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. Now they did it for Arkham Origins, but everyone hated that game, and I feel like everyone hated that game because they felt like a big chunk of it was Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill were not there, right? Yeah. And whether or not, even though the impressions were good,
I think for a young Batman, the performance was perfectly fine. You know,
for me, I go, you could tell it's different. Like you feel it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's obvious, right? But you know, I don't think you can use the Arkham name in a Batman. Like you can make another Batman game, but if you say Arkham on it, that's people are going to expect those two, especially as the main cast. But unfortunately, Kevin Conroy's not here anymore. So, and Mark Hamill has said, Mark Hamill has stated, if he's not there as Batman, I'm not doing Joker.
Yeah.
So you can't now.
I'm gonna throw an idea at you too, and it's gonna be the only way I can see them actually making this work.
Okay.
Batman Beyond.
I would personally love it.
Sign me up.
I love Batman Beyond when it was a TV show. Absolutely loved it.
And at that point, you can get someone who is Kevin Conroy adjacent to be super old Bruce. Yeah. Because the voice will have changed with him being, you know, like fucking 85 or whatever he is in Batman Beyond. He's old as shit.
You could probably get the original actor from the Batman Beyond TV show to reprise his role.
Oh, I mean, God, he's got to be 50. What was it? Will Friedle, right?
I think so. But you could probably still do it. So
he's 48, so I was close.
Yeah, he could still do it. But regardless, though, I think in the end, these companies are, I don't know if getting humbled is the correct phrase I want to use. I feel like it's not, but they're learning, hopefully, slowly, very, very slowly, but surely. They are learning that all of their big grand ideas, not working out. And when you lose millions and millions of dollars, hopefully that speaks their language and everything. But then again, we've seen it. That doesn't always mean that.
The real question I have is that, you know, we're going to see them just stick with what's safe now. And how long is it going to be until we get tired of Arkham? We get tired of Hogwarts. We get tired of, you know.
Video games are an art. They are an art. And you cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again. Otherwise, people are just not going to buy it. They're going to leave. They're going to go somewhere else.
Call of Duty says what?
Assassin's Creed.
Fortnite.
Fortnite still has a crazy amount of people, and I don't know how they do it. It's
still the same game. They keep buying the skins over and over again.
But Fortnite has not been releasing new games. It's just simply been updating. It's still Fortnite.
And the thing I can say about Fortnite is they do build entirely new like areas.
That's true. They do.
Every like whatever, every chapter or whatever is full of completely new buildings, and like they'll have like the area where like, you know, this is a point of interest. You can drop there, but it's going to be completely different layout. Like one time it was Marvel themed, and then it was, you know, like Christmas themed at Christmas. Like it's, you know, it just they put a lot of work into making that game different as often as they possibly can. And Fortnite is just an anomaly. But yeah, like even Call of Duty, like you see people are like, yeah, Call of Duty. Oh, okay, we're over it. After like a week, they're just over it, right? And it's gonna be the same thing for like Assassin's Creed. You just see people like Mirage. Everyone's like, Assassin's Creed going back to its roots, cool. And they were like, oh yeah, Mirage did okay for us because we didn't spend a ton of money making it, but like they didn't sell a ton of it. Obviously, I don't know anyone outside of, you know, direct
OG.
buying it. No, like direct who bought it. I don't know anyone who got Mirage except for direct who got it.
Old school Assassin's Creed fans are the ones who bought Mirage. Those are the ones who bought it. But then
I got
again,
Mirage. I didn't
a
buy it
good
at
chunk of
full
them,
price.
waited until it was 50% off. That was the thing.
Yeah, why would you ever buy a Ubisoft game for full price?
And that's
I've
the
already
other
set
problem.
that precedent.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them because like I'll buy Star Wars Outlaws when it's like $20.
Yeah.
Same.
That one we already knew was a flop. But
Black
regardless,
Friday's coming
though,
up.
I think in the end, the bottom line is that it's these companies are not going to learn for a while. They're going to see the millions of dollars get basically thrown into a furnace. Things are not going to change for still some time, though, unfortunately.
They'll learn when they go bankrupt.
Yeah, when they go bankrupt. Oh, by then they'll learn. By then they will learn. But until then, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, Lemon, I know it's getting late for you. I just hit the end recording on that. If you need to get going, by all means. But Bobby, if you can stick around at least for talking PS5 Pro, because I want to talk. I want to cover that.
We may have another person to talk Pro.
Is
All right,
Lethal up?
I'll see you guys later.
All right,
No,
later, man.
have a good night, Lemon. No, Chin said he might hop in.
All right, we'll get him in here now. Let's go.
I think he's showering. So he took a shower because he's got to wake up early. So he might be in for like that discussion.
Okay.
I can see where he's at, but give me a second.
Oh, go ahead. Samurai, I'm so sorry because we were just going off on that topic. If you happen to be around by any chance still, once again, Sony proving themselves to not know how to mine the gold that they have. Again, the waking theory right now is that they have things like Bloodborne, which you bring up, just as a kind of a break the glass thing. So the moments things really get bad, ding, break the glass, boom, there you go. Please everybody right there. So
yeah, he's in the shower. So he'll probably like if he hears us, he'll probably
jump
just
in.
pop in.
All right.
Why
don't we go?
So
Well, hang on.
Yeah,
So, okay, so
Bloodborne.
if we're gonna start, let me hit the recording.
Yeah,
Because this is all about the PlayStation 5 Pro stuff. So, because there's two things to cover. So I'll do the intro and then I'll let you talk about it because you actually have one. I potentially might be able to get one in early December. There is a chance, which I'll talk about later. So, anyway, so let's go and get started on this. Actually, yeah, there we go. Okay. Earlier on this week, the PlayStation 5 Pro officially released to the public, and tons of reviews have been out showing off the console itself, showing the games, showing the brand new PS5 Pro patches, or just the amount of power you're able to push at old PS4 games. And surprisingly, it's exactly what we thought it would be. It's a more powerful PS5 for those who want the best of the best gaming console experience. This is absolutely what they want, and they have shown that they have bought it. It's not selling out or anything like that, which, funny enough, has been a smack to the face for scalpers, and I am absolutely here for it. Although, however, over on the PC side, we're seeing that the CPUs already, for the new AMD CPUs, they're already getting scalped, which is just unfortunate, but that's just the way it is when most of your stuff is bought online and not in person. But getting back over to the PS5 Pro side of things, it seems to be doing, for the most part, pretty well. I mean, heck, even the giant price hike, the sticker shock that we all saw of $700, or if you're in any other country, it's even more. Over here in Japan, it feels like you're paying $1,200 for the thing. The Sony president has even said that it has not had a negative impact on sales of their console. Because again, this is the market that they're trying to go for. They're not trying to go for the average gamer. The average gamer is like, yeah, here's your PS5. This is for the hardcore console gamers that want the best of the best experience in 2024 / going into 2025. And that's exactly what they're getting, essentially. And so overall, though, I would say that if you're somebody who goes in and buys it knowing exactly what you're going to get, with the also hope that eventually down the road, with games coming out in 2025, 2026, that this is going to give you the best personal console experience, it's a win, essentially, for them. But I do love the fact that the scalpers are trying to resell this stuff at a loss. I'm absolutely laughing at that, and that's absolutely amazing. But we do have someone here right now who actually has a PS5 Pro. He's been playing a ton of the games, whether it's the absolutely amazing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and its Pro patch, going back and playing some PS4 games, Bobby, what has been your official experience with the PlayStation 5 Pro? Do you think it's worth it? Is it worth it to people who are looking for only for the best console experience? Is it worth it for those who have a PS5 or maybe are still on the PS4? Or would you recommend people selling their PS5, maybe selling a couple games and then only needing to pay $200 to $300 to buy it? What are your, just give us the details, man. We want to know.
Okay. I'm going to preface this as someone who's been like a PC gamer for like 16-ish years. PS5 Pro is the last step for a console owner who does not want to get a PC to get the best possible experience. And what I mean by that is, like, I have my PC and my PC is going to outperform the PS5 Pro. However, my PC has like a $350 processor, a $600 or $650 graphics card, $150 power supply, 2 terabytes SSD, which are about $100 each, so that's $200, right? And then, you know, I have some fans that I had to buy, the case, had to get a monitor, all this happy shit. And then, you know, nice mouse, nice keyboard. So, like, if you're going to get a computer like mine, we talked about this earlier, right, Talon? Like,
We
just
talked about
the
this weeks
computer,
ago, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be $1,400. Like, and that's not
Minimum,
with all
minimum,
the
by the way.
bells and, yeah,
Minimum.
that's not with all the bells and whistles. And, you know, then like my monitor was like $400, my keyboard was like $150, my mouse is $150, right? And I know people go like, well, I can play with a Logitech wireless mouse and key. No, shut the fuck up. Like, that's not what gaming
Those
keyboards
like those
are
$10
about.
keyboards that are so
Yeah,
flimsy.
the keyboard mouse, it's cool.
No.
It's like, okay, if you play like RTS games, yeah, fine. Like, or if you play with a controller, I guess. But the PS5 Pro has actually been fantastic. In talking from a console sense,
Right.
it is absolutely a step above the PS5, like, without question. I haven't even played what is arguably the two most visually impressive games on the thing. I will say Rebirth is incredible in terms of its upgrade. Like, it just night and day. You know, the Instagram blur filter that, you know, people use to like make things seem angelic versus like, oh, seeing someone in real life. Like, the new mode on Rebirth is so clear and it makes everything look so good. There's so much more detail and everything. I waited to play the game. Like, I stopped playing and I've picked it back up now, and I've been playing it every day for at least an hour, just because I'm like, this is great. I've been wanting to test out other games though, so I hop on other stuff. The only other game that I haven't tested that would be better would probably be Forbidden West in the Burning Shores area.
Oh yeah, the DLC, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Forbidden West on its own is
It already runs pretty well for the most part. So.
Yeah, and like I part of me, I did find out, by the way, Talon, you gaslighted me, okay? Because Alan Wake 2 does come with a disc.
Oh, I just went off what Lemon told me, okay? So he
Lemon,
gaslighted me, who then gaslighted
Lemon,
you.
Are a liar. Liar. No. So yeah, I looked out because I was like, it really doesn't come with a disc. That was upsetting. I was like, man, I wanted to buy that because like I wanted a physical Alan Wake 2. And then like I saw someone do an unboxing and he just had a disc. Now it you know, it doesn't include all the stuff. Maybe that's where Lemon got confused. Does not include all of the stuff. You have to download the DLC. Okay. So that might be where Lemon got confused. But that all being said, yeah, the PS5 Pro has been great. I even played Arkham City because I thought about playing Arkham Knight, but I was like, I want to see like 60 FPS, right?
Right.
So I played the Return to Arkham City. Lord, it looks fantastic. Like, there's very clear upscaling.
So that boost you get on PS4 games seems to really do its job well. Then it seems like
it does. It really like sharpens everything up. And I put a screenshot on my Twitter of it. It just looks so crisp. It's wild, right? And that's a game for, even the Return to Arkham was what, like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's a 1080 game. I've heard Stellar Blade is one of the better looking games as well. I think Digital Foundry said that. I still haven't played that, but if there's a Black Friday sale, I'll probably get it.
There you go.
And then, yeah, I just like I've been checking out the enhanced games, and they've been really cool. The enhanced games I've played so far are Spider-Man 2, which looks awesome.
It already looked awesome, to be fair, though.
Yeah, it did, but it's like getting to play full ray tracing and having it still be like 55 to 60 FPS is nuts, Talon. Like,
oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet it is.
It's so good looking. And then Ragnarok, I played that and I was like, oh, like it just looks so good. Yeah, Rebirth, like I said, Rebirth is night and day. It's like you wipe the Vaseline off the screen for Rebirth. Because like me, I'm a big like performance mode. Like I need 60 FPS, like 30 FPS. I just my eyes don't like it anymore.
Yep.
Like I haven't.
We could handle it back when we were in elementary and junior high. Because that's all things could barely hit. Or even though technically there were some older games back then that could hit 60 FPS, our screens could not. So
yeah, well, no, I mean like CRTs could, because a lot of old Super Nintendo games and stuff, and like Genesis games are 60 FPS. But once you start to get into 3D, right? Think about like Mario. Mario
going
64.
from the 2D to the 3D thing, though. That's just like,
yeah, that's where the FPS started getting cut. Like if you look at Ocarina of Time,
and that famously run at like 15 FPS or something like that.
No, it was like 20. Like that. Yeah, it was like it was built around 20 FPS. Yeah. Because that was like the closest they could get it to being cinematic at 24 FPS. And back in the day, like we didn't notice that, but like now, it's like 2024, man. Like I need 60 FPS. So that's why, like, if it's a very intensive game, like Alan Wake 2, I played it on my PC. Yeah, James gave me a code for a copy, and I was like, hell yeah. And yeah, I love the original Alan Wake, and I love Control. And I was so excited when they did the second Control DLC and they like brought Alan Wake into it, and I was like, yes, like that made my day. But yeah, it was really cool to see like, hey, this thing is keeping up with my computer, and in some instances I feel like it's probably outperforming my computer. Like let's take Elden Ring. Now it doesn't have a PS5 Pro patch. But
it does have that raw power you can push at it through the...
Yeah, and because it's not FromSoft's weird fucking engine running on PC, which is like notoriously shitty, like I was playing Elden Ring on PC for a while, and it's just so bad because it's been 2.5 years and that shit still stutters like a motherfucker.
I was saying they still haven't fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like you're in the middle of a fight and it just like stutters, like noticeable, like the whole thing like freezes for like a half of a second and then just like unfreezes and you're like, oh, what the fuck? But you play it now on PS5 Pro, you could put it on quality mode, and it's like 60 FPS. It goes down into like 50, like in really intensive stuff, it goes like 56 or something.
It's still better than what it was beforehand.
Yeah, and it's high enough that the VRR takes care of it. Like if you have a VRR TV, so you don't have to like really like have an issue if you have the TV. That would be one thing I would say. If you do not have a like 4K 120 VRR TV, either like an OLED or a QLED or whatever, do not buy a Pro, because you're not going to get the stuff out of it that you should. Like,
so what if you're somebody who has like a 4K OLED TV because usually those by default hit 60 FPS. Would you recommend it for them?
If you do and you want, like, if you have VRR, yeah. Well, no, I mean, I guess even with the brute force, you're still getting better FPS. Like the reason I say like a 4K 120 VRR is because like VRR, you don't realize it until you really use it, like how much work it does to make your games look better. Like I didn't use VRR on my monitor. Like I somehow just slipped in my mind to turn VRR on my monitor for the longest time, and I turned it on like a month ago, and it just like night and day. And I was like, oh, I kept wondering, like, I love this monitor. The fact that it's like an ultra wide, like 40-inch monitor rules, but I kept thinking like something feels off, like it feels like it's laggy or something, and then I was like, wait, I never turned on the VRR, like I never turned on the G-Sync, and so I turned it on. I was like, this is what was fucking me up. Like it's just like everything is super smooth now. I played the Alan Wake 2 DLC with that. I was like, I gotta replay this whole game now because like this changed the experience. Again, night and day, right? VRR is that important. The thing that Sony needs to do, I've heard they're working on it. There's rumors. I think they said in an interview or something, like it's something that's like on their to-do list, is they're trying to expand the range of VRR down to like 30 or something. So that even if a game swings under like into like the low 40s, it'll still adjust, right? Because their VRR range is like 48 to 120 or something.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you go under 48, which is why like Elden Ring you played on PS5 still look fucked up, right? Because there was a it would just go out of the VRR range with the base PS5, right? And that's why like a lot of people said Xbox was the better place, because Series X, that is one of those things that Series X has had over PS5 the entire generation, is their VRR thing is like hardware based or something, and so it goes like as low as it needs to.
Yeah.
Which is good, right? Obviously if you get into like 20, it's just not going to be able to like fucking do anything about that. But if or like 20 from where it's supposed to be 60, right? But if like you're playing 60 and then it gets to like 41, it'll still cover it, or 37, it'll still cover it, right? At least a lot better than the PlayStation will, where it goes out of that range and you just see like the framey mess. So yeah, with the Pro, one of the coolest things is that PS4 game boost. I want to kind of go back to some of my old PS4 games and just see how they do. Yeah, like because like Arkham, I was super impressed. I haven't tried out too many of the other ones. I have a bunch on my SSD that I keep plugged in, so I could just like kind of go through and see those. But if you are someone who is looking for that experience that is close to a PC, but you don't want to deal with the PC bullshit, because like I love PC, I've been on PC forever, but there's a lot of bullshit. There'll be games that come out and you gotta like, oh, I need a patch, oh, I need a driver update, like you gotta turn this setting off, otherwise the whole port is
the whole port is after. Or even there's even things where you've got to put like, you need mods to help you just get decent performance sometimes, depending on the game. And a lot of people are scared and don't want to go messing with the, the folders and the files and everything when it comes to certain things like that. So
yeah, and like PC has tons of freedom, right? You can do mods, you can do emulation, you can do all sorts of stuff, and that's like really cool. But it comes with a myriad of issues that you have to learn to deal with.
Yeah, you have to learn.
Yeah, if you want the best plug and play experience, the Pro is where it's at. Like, and for me, like I said, I got it because like I pay all this money for a PC, so I can look at those little extra like sparkles and embers and stuff like from a fire. You know what I mean?
Would you recommend it then if somebody, let's say somebody has a PS5 and they're willing to then sell said PS5, maybe sell a couple games, and then that way you only pay $200 to $300 at most.
Talon is asking if he should buy his PS5.
Well, and
Pro
there you go, because so here's the thing. So as you guys know, when it comes to the yen here, it is atrocious. So to buy a Pro here in Japan, it's like paying $1,200. It's not paying $800. It's like paying $1,200. Okay. However, I went, luckily, because I do live in Tokyo, there are a lot of those kind of like trade-in shops, and it's not just simply games. Like it's everything from books to clothes to even, there's a huge floors dedicated to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or like those Dragon Ball superhero cards and everything, which by the way, a lot of those cards, they'll run for like thousands and thousands of dollars. But anyway, regardless, so I went and I checked this place out, and they said that they would take my PS5. I'm just gonna be using dollars because it's much easier. They would take my PS5 for around $500 to $550. And then I also have some games that I don't particularly want anymore, whether it's on PS4, PS5, or Switch. Funny enough, for Switch, I can sell a Pokemon Scarlet for $50 still. So
nice.
So anyway, so going through some of my games and everything, I think I can get it down to like, I could get almost $700, $800. And then all I'm paying is around $300 to $400 for the Pro. So in a position like that, or for just anyone watching, whether you have games you want to sell or you kind of like the aspect of the Pro, but it's like, okay, should I just get rid of my PS5, sell it, and then get the Pro? What are your thoughts, Bobby? Do you think that's worth it or not?
Yeah, if you're someone who wants the best experience, you have a PS5 and you have some games that you want to trade in to get some of that credit for them. Yes. Because not only do we have to think like one of the biggest things is like you see tons of people, and this even goes to like IGN and like the other big outlets going like, oh, well, like all you're doing is paying to play old games better. And it's like, well, yeah, right now. But you're not thinking like, what happens if in like February or March, like Indiana Jones is PS5 Pro enhanced? Is GTA 6 going to be PS5 Pro enhanced, right? Is that going to be the only place you're able to get 60 FPS or even like a 45 FPS mode, right? Because that game's going to be fucking nuts.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier with the Series S news, and
yeah, like the next Naughty Dog game, the next Santa Monica game, Ghost of Yote. Right? Like all of these, you have to consider that, like, you bet your ass those first parties are going to be PS5 Pro enhanced.
Right.
And you bet that anyone Sony has a decent relationship with as a publisher is going to put that effort in because they know Sony's going to sell their game more than the competitor.
And I believe I saw a comment earlier on about comparing the PS4 Pro to the PS5 Pro, where the PS4 Pro did not have a lot of games at that particular time when it released that took advantage of some of those features, having that quote unquote PS4 Pro patch essentially, right? So even the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S or whatever that Pro console was called at that time, like a lot of those games, it was kind of the same thing where it's like you bought it because you wanted it to go to 4K and to have those extra pretty features, but it wasn't at that particular moment when they both released. There wasn't any big new game that was all of a sudden making this huge leap to make it look like a PC or something like that at the time. It was just simply, it's a more powerful console. I think the reason that people didn't, bash on it as much, I guess I would say, is because of the price at the time, right? The PS4 went down in price and the Pro took its initial price of like $300 at that time. But now Sony's like, we're not making a loss on our consoles anymore. They've kept the PS5 at the same base price the entire time and raised it in some countries. And the Pro has gone up now.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what we've also been saying. Expect next generation to have a price increase. I'm expecting $600-$700 for the base consoles.
The biggest thing about this is just like people don't understand that is all of tech right now.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, like,
look at GPUs right now. Just look at GPUs.
I'm gonna try and be like as nice about what I'm about to say as I can be. But there's a lot of people who are just dumb and think like, oh well, everything needs to go down in price. And it's like that's not how anything has worked in the past like 3-4 years. Yeah. It's just not. Like since the pandemic happened, we have not seen that happen. And it's,
the entire world went through its inflation stage, and a lot of countries are still dealing with that right now. So.
Yeah, almost every country is still dealing with inflation. Still, and some are worse than others, right? Like you said, your money is not worth as much.
Oh, that's terrible right now for me. It is terrible for me right now.
And I mean, we got it bad here, and we're one of the ones who are doing the best with it. Regardless of what people like to say, the U.S. is actually one of the ones doing the best with it right now.
You guys got it back down to around 2%, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously went up super high, but now it's down about 2% again, which is like, okay, this is normal.
So the rest of the world went up as well. I mean, geez, they went pretty higher in Japan. I saw places in Europe that, everywhere basically went up. Like, so.
And that's one of those things that, like, people don't consider. It's like the inflation has been crazy the last 4 years. Tech in general is it's getting more expensive because they're just cramming so much into it. Like tech is so much more performant now than it was.
Not to mention tech is also used in more things now than it was, 10, 15 years ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even then, right? Think about 5 years ago. We had our smartphones, we had our consoles. They're all attached to the fucking internet, right? We all have computers. We have a laptop. You got iPads. Like all this stuff has been around. The last 5 years, that's been pretty similar. But the thing about it is, is that, you know, the cost of making it is not going down like it used to.
That's going up.
Right. And it's going up. And so like the fact that we're paying the same price for our phones and for our, you know, things, or we're paying more, but it's not like doubled like the cost might have, you know. Now, from what we know, the Slim is costing Sony less. They've cut back like a bunch of stuff, right? Just little things, so that it adds up when they make, you know, 5 million consoles. Like that starts to add up. You save like 20 cents per console, you know, you're saving what, $1 million over those 5 million units. And you're still able to charge the same price, so you're starting to increase your profit margin again from where you lost it, especially early on in 2021 with those silicon shortages and having to pay that much. But yeah, it's like late 2020 or early 2022. They said, "Oh, hey, we're finally profitable with these." Yeah. But they're like, you don't want to cut into that profit too much because it hasn't gone down that much.
Every company doesn't want to cut into their profit. That's why we're seeing higher prices and everything. And again, not to mention just the fact, I think another part of it also, this is not just in games, we've seen this in phones and everything as well, is that the jump between your devices, be that from PS4 to PS5 or even like iPhone to iPhone, which even then that was always a lot smaller and everything, but the jumps between things, heck, we even saw it within CPUs, like all these big CPUs that are releasing soon or have released now and everything. The jump between different generations or different years, they're not as big as we saw back in the quote unquote old days, right?
Yeah.
And so
there's diminishing returns.
There's diminishing returns. And so I think people need to understand that, like, look, if you want to buy the new thing every year, that's fine. That's your choice to do. But the return that you're going to get on that, it's not as big of a jump as it used to be. And that can be a range of different reasons, but I think one of the big ones is just simply the fact that things are, you seeing those big jumps and everything. We've hit the ceiling essentially with a lot of some of this stuff, be it how graphics look or how something performs and everything, because you have to be able to get some, you know, like a piece of tech, you know, in terms of the silicon potentially thinner and thinner and thinner. You can only go so thin at some points, right? And so understanding a lot of that stuff, I think people need to be able to understand and be like, things are not the way they used to be, essentially.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Like the Pro is great, and it's great to get, like the thing that I went into the Pro wanting and expecting was what Mark Cerny said: fidelity mode, 60 FPS.
Yep. And
if you understand that is what you're getting, you're not getting some like magic machine that's going to make everything like it's night and day, light years better. Like Rebirth, night and day. But that's just because, you know, just optimization with how the base PS5 worked. It was fucked. But in terms of everything else, it's like, okay, like I was playing The Last of Us 2. You know me, Talon. That's like one of my favorite games.
Shocker, you're playing The Last of Us Part 2.
I know, right? I will say, now I don't know if this is a PS5 Pro. First time that game has ever crashed on me was when I was playing on my PS5 Pro. Everything else has been great. So I don't know, maybe they fucked up their Pro patch or something. But I was like, this game just fucking hard locked on me. I had to like force quit it. It was weird. But when I did play it, I was playing this. You played it, right, Talon?
Yeah.
Okay. So the scene where like Abby, you know, they're trying to like hang her.
Yeah.
And then Lev and Yara show up. Like I was playing that scene, and man, like the lighting effects and stuff, you know, because it's using the fidelity mode lighting, but with 60 FPS, I was like, oh wow, like it just popped more, right? Again, it's not night and day, but it's just like, you know, if they were to release a Last of Us 2 PC, I'd be like, I don't need to get that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to buy that now. It's like I don't need to buy God of War Ragnarok PC now, because like now I have that full fidelity mode in 60 FPS, which is what I would want the PC port for. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So to me,
it's understanding what it is going to provide, and if that's something that you as a consumer like, then it can be worth it. But if it's not, if you're okay with what your base PS5 provides you, just stick with it. I think it honestly, it should be that simple to say that. But as always, online, drama, that kind of stuff.
And remember, like, don't listen to voices on Twitter. Like, Twitter's fucking gross. Like, I've been using Blue Sky lately.
Yeah.
Talon, use Blue Sky more.
Yeah,
it's good for your sanity.
It
like,
is.
I know you have it. It's like so refreshing to see a bunch of people going like, we like games. And like, don't be a dick if you're coming over here.
Yeah. Or people that know at least how to have a general conversation,
Yeah. Like, and I never mind having a conversation, like, because I'll talk to people, like, I'll talk my shit. You know me, I talk my shit. And when someone fucks up, like, you fucked up. Like, like Sony fucked up with Concord.
Yep.
People didn't like, I liked it. People clearly didn't like it. And so that shit bombed harder than just about anything that's ever been released. Maybe except for, what was it, Miss Pac-Man and E.T.
Back in what, the 80s?
Yeah, and those are like two universal level fucking flops.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what, I think it was Miss Pac-Man that ended up costing, in that time, it was like $140 million like of damage.
Now,
and that's like
just
1982.
For inflation that for inflation now.
That's Concord. Concord's 400 million, which Concord did not cost 400 million, but that's like about Concord's like 400 million that's being claimed. So
I mean, regardless, you're going between 200 million and 400 million. Just
and
pennies for them essentially.
And like, if we're discussing, fuck ups, like, I'm gonna say, because people have been like, oh, this is just so stupid, I don't know what to do. You said it earlier. This is for the enthusiast. Just like the PS4 Pro was, just like the Xbox, what was it, One X, right?
Yes.
Just like that was. These are things, just like the reason I have a fucking 4070 when everyone else has a 4060 or a 3070 or a 3060, right? I have a 4070 because I wanted to power ultra wide 1440, and I wanted it to be able to do ray tracing and frame gen and all the new cool stuff,
right?
And get those extra little features. Like, if you're someone who is like that, because I had a friend who was asking me the same question. He's like, is it worth it? And I said, yeah, if you want to trade like your PS5 and you want to, because he's a PC guy. He's a guy who taught me how to build my first PC, right? And if I ever have PC questions that I can't figure out, he's the first guy I ask. He was like, yeah, is it worth it, man? Like, and I was like, I'm going to be real with you. I am loving it. It gives me something much closer to my PC in terms of frame rates and quality.
But with the easy and accessibility use of a console.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing. If you're someone who's like, you've heard of PC, you've heard, oh, it's so great, like, you're not going to get a $700 PC that performs like the PS5 Pro. You're not.
It's already been proven. We've proven that already.
Yeah, it's. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Like, you're not gonna get a $700. Now, you can build a $700 PC that'll do okay, and you can do more with it. You can do emulation. You can do work. If you like. Yeah. But if you're someone who's just like, gaming's your main hobby, you just want to chill and you want the best possible experience, like, the Pro is the thing for you. Now, if you're okay with the base PS5, keep your base PS5. If you want something that looks nicer, get a Pro. Trade your fucking PS5 in. And like, it's if you are someone who wants that, and especially if you've got a PS5 to trade in already, I'd say go for it. Like,
which is what I'm going to be doing. But again, I'm like you though, where I want that 60 FPS for my console, because I've built a decently good sized library, both digital and physical, with my PS5,
for console.
with my PS5 and my PS4. And that's obviously going to continue into PS6, because we already know about the AMD deal that Sony has now made, where all of our PS4 and PS5 games are going to be backwards compatible with the PS6, most likely is what's going to be called. So
also, they apparently have put out a patent for an improved PSSR.
Yes,
like a PSSR.
Exactly, because we already know FSR2 is balls. So
FSR2 is okay. FSR3 is pretty good, but not DLSS.
But it's not using. But the consoles aren't using FSR3. That's the problem. So
yeah, well, they can, right?
I don't know. They Can they now? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a software. The FSR is a software thing. That's why it's not as good as DLSS and PSSR, and that's why the Pro exists.
Yeah,
because,
if I remember correctly, it's FSR 3, then PSSR, and then DLSS, right? In terms of the levels.
Yeah, so FSR 3 is like the lowest level of like that generation of technology.
Right.
Developers are already saying that PSSR is getting close to DLSS, like that it competes, which is good, especially if it's like Naughty Dog saying that, I go, yeah, like.
Well, I think the thing with the PS5 Pro also is that this is their kind of, it's almost part of it. It's almost like an experiment, at least with the PSSR stuff, for the next generation console, the PS6. I highly doubt we will not see some kind of improvement to PSSR for the actual next generational console, right? Yeah. So
I'm hoping, we see. The thing I do like is because PSSR is software, but it's hardware based, right?
Yeah, it's a combo of them both.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can do, and that's like DLSS 2, right?
Yeah.
You need the hardware, and that's like the thing that Apple says too, is that you need the newest Mac because that hardware is what supports the newest software, right? So they're going, everyone says Sony's like trying to be the Apple, and it's true. Like PSSR is a hardware, hardware thing, hardware based thing.
Take advantage of the new software.
Oh, well, it's the software that's taking advantage of the new hardware.
Backwards, sorry.
Right, yeah. So like that GPU is in there because it powers PSSR, right? That's why they're not just going, hey, we're putting PSSR on the base PS5. But FSR 3 is fully software, so that's the solution if you are a PS5 owner, because that's actually what they did to Immortals of Avium and Forspoken, I believe. Those got FSR 3 patches on PS5. And so they can run really solid frame rates and stuff with decent graphical fidelity.
Right.
Obviously not as good as PSSR, not as good as DLSS, but good enough that like it's an improvement over what they originally had.
And I will say this to kind of end, to kind of wrap everything up here as well, is that look, if the PS5 Pro, obviously the PS5 Pro is not for everybody. As we've already stated multiple times, if you're okay with your base PS5 and all that stuff. But I would recommend one thing right now, especially if you're not somebody who can just blow thousands of dollars at the press of a button, essentially. Start saving now for the next generation. Be that the Switch 2/Switch Pro, the PS6, the Xbox. I don't even know what the Xbox is going to be called because their naming scheme is whatever. Save now. Do not expect the next consoles to be $300.
No, fuck
do not. No,
not a chance.
Switch at minimum. Switch at minimum is going to be $400 to $500. I would say. I think that's what the Switch will be.
PS6 is minimum and Xbox is minimum 600.
Oh, I'm going to say 700. I'm saying 700.
Yeah, there's a chance that you're right. A very good chance.
Start saving now for those next consoles. Just take $50 a month out of your paycheck, or if you get money for Christmas or whatever, $50 every month. Just set it aside. You will be good to go easily by then. You're not taking much out, right? I'm not saying to say $200-$300 every month or something like that, because if you want to, you'd be done in a couple months. But just $50, set it aside. Take out the physical cash if it's easier for you. Put it into a small little safe or something. That way you're not tempted to spend it, and just set it aside. And then keep setting it aside. And heck, if you want to set aside an extra $100 or $200 for the disk drive or these whatever games are going to come with it, right? Because you have to buy a game or two probably. Then set that aside, and then that way you're ready by 2028 is when we're assuming the next consoles are going to come out, and you'll be good to go. And the sticker shock will not be there, because I think that's one big thing we said beforehand. The PS5 Pro, it was that sticker shock of seeing a console that expensive in this day and age right now. Obviously, we know as consoles were way back when they originally started, but then over time they started to get cheaper, but that's not the case anymore now. So save now, and you'll be good to go. But do not go into next generation thinking that they are going to drop these prices like crazy and it's going to be $300 for the brand new console. It's just not going to happen.
And if there is a console that is $300, it's probably going to run games like ass and hold back the generation. Just throwing that out there.
I wonder who he's talking about.
I am throwing out no names. I'm just making a generalized statement that if a console is preaching next gen and costs $300, it's probably going to suck ass and hold back the generation. I feel like we can all agree on that.
Yeah, pretty much. That was a good stopping point right there. So perfect. So I'm guessing Shin probably went to sleep. So
I guess he did. Yeah. I mean, he's got to get up at like 5. So
I mean, I'm not surprised. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that was part of the question I wanted to ask you was that I have, with what I can potentially trade in, I'll probably be able to get a Pro late November, early December is my hope. So.
Yeah, I would say if you can trade all that in, get a good amount towards it. Yeah, it's worth the upgrade if like, you know, if you just really enjoy having a PlayStation. And like you said, you have a big library.
I would like to be able, because I have, you know, because every now and then I do flip on the fidelity mode of some games, and I'm like, that looks really good, but F that 30 FPS, just F that shit. Just
that's
F
literally
that shit.
That's literally what made me get it in the first place, Talon, was looking at like Horizon, looking at Rebirth, like in fidelity, going, God damn it, I wish I could bear to play this like this because it looks so good, but it runs like bounce.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it's going to do 60 FPS for like fidelity mode. And I was like, all right, you got me. Like,
yeah. Bobby throwing shade. Yeah, he always does, Flock. What do you expect?
Yeah, I throw shade.
I don't game enough anymore to get one. And again, yeah, for you, Flock, yeah, then it's not worth it to get one. So just save your money for the PS6. And plus, you have a PC, last I checked. So, like,
Flock has a PC?
I thought he does, doesn't he?
I thought he just did PS5. I was going to say, for anyone who would want the upgrade, it would be Flock. Just trade your fucking PS5 in and get a Pro.
That's true, too. Although because, I guess maybe it's the screen he's playing on. I don't know what screen you're playing on, Flock. Do you play on a monitor? Do you play on a big HD?
Yeah, I think he plays on a big TV. He's mentioned he plays...
Oh, PC. Okay, he says his PC is a potato with a battery. Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was like,
maybe
he doesn't
the Pro
game on
would,
PC.
but if you don't, I mean, I guess if you don't game as much as you say, then I guess that depends on how often you game. So
I mean, for me, I don't game nearly as much as I used to because I started the new job that we're not.
Let's say we have we all have full-time jobs. We have a life.
Yeah, but you know? when I turn on the Pro, like I'm like, God damn, this is nice. That's how I look at it. Yep. That's for me. And again, it's not a thing for you. Where is Flock? Is he on Twitch or is he on like mobile?
He's on the short stream right now.
The mobile stream.
I mean, I'm gaming like 5 hours a week at the moment. Oh yeah, no, I mean, the most I probably game per week right now, I'd say 5, maybe 7 hours at most.
Yeah, I get like 10-ish, maybe.
And like there are definitely a couple days where I can play a little bit more, but there are other days where I get like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm just like, I can't. Yeah. I have to go to bed. I got to wake up for work.
The other day I turned on Rebirth, and
I'm so jealous of being able to play it because I'm trying my damn hardest right now because I do want to do a replay of Rebirth before the year ends, but hopefully if I can. But I'm like,
if you get a Pro, I want the time.
Because dude, I saw it played at TGS, and I'm just like, but I couldn't actually sit down and play it just because of how long the line was and everything. I was just like, God damn, that looks so effing good.
Yeah, it looks incredible. Like it really for performance mode, it's just so nice to have like just have things look good, you know. And it's the same thing like playing God of War in the new Pro mode. Is like, oh, it looks like the crazy textures and art of fidelity, but it just runs so smooth. See, I just lose interest really fast playing alone at the moment, and people aren't playing the same multiplayer games. Yeah, I mean that's fair, Flock. Like, you know, by the way, we gotta run some of that dungeon again on Destiny, man.
I don't even have Destiny installed right now, so have fun.
Some GMs. That's on my PC, which I still play Destiny on PC, but like, yeah, I get that, man. For me, like, it's one of those. It's like when I get a new guitar, right? Like I'll play my guitar, and then I get to like I play it because I gotta play it. But like when I get a new one, I'm like I play twice as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. I definitely do. So, plus, I just have other games that I want to play right now, whether they're new or older games.
It's fucking 8K on the Pro.
Oh.
Flock, come on,
I've been,
man.
you know, actually, what funny enough, what I've been enjoying a lot is the free update for Darksiders 2. Old game, love it though. Love Darksiders 2. Absolutely love
Actually,
it.
I should check that out on.
Oh, definitely check it out on the Pro
that.
because you have it on PS4, I assume, right?
I don't. I have it on PC, but like I could buy it on like now that I have money like a human.
Yeah. Because
I looked at my bank account today and I was like, I have money. And it's weird. Like, and I get paid this week, and I'm like, I have hundreds of dollars. Like, this is weird. Like, I don't know. No, nobody knows the difference between 4K and 8K. Nobody does.
Yeah.
It's 4K and 8. That's why nobody buys 8K TVs, because they're like, I don't fucking see a difference.
Plus, they're super expensive still. So.
Well, that's why they're super expensive, is because no one has bought them, because that's what incentivizes the lowering in production price, is when a bunch of people start buying them.
Basic
they go, oh,
economics,
now that we've made some money, we can make them cheaper. And then other companies that will make them cheaper come in and go, oh, we can make these cheaper, like, you know, Vizio and shit, TCL. They start doing it. But because no one buys 8K, it's just like why you never saw like a Vizio 3D TV, right? Because nobody fucking bought 3D TVs. So Vizio was like, oh, we're not going to fucking invest in that. Fuck that. Because like, we wouldn't be able to make it.
And to some extent, that's why you haven't seen a lot of other games try to hit 8K or anything, even though technically they can, because not only do most people not have an 8K TV, but the push to go, I mean, just the push alone from 1080 to 4K is huge and kills performance a lot. The push from 4K to 8K would be like, yeah. So.
Well, yeah, it's like the games that are 8K, like No Man's Sky is, but it's 30 FPS.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, see, Flock, you know what you could do with a Pro? Play Baldur's Gate 3 in native 4K 60 FPS. Apparently, that's what they said.
Yeah, well, it got a Pro patch, didn't it? Baldur's Gate 3 It got a Pro patch. So
I thought about getting that because, like, I have it on PC, but the only thing with it is like that is such a fucking PC game.
Oh,
like, I played it on my I played it on my Steam Deck, and I'm like, ugh. The only thing I need is a mod where I can move with the arrow keys or with the WASD. Give me that shit, and then I'll put like 4,000 hours in that game. That's the only thing that keeps me from playing that game more. Is like I've played it for like 30 hours or something. Like, I love it and I want to play more, but like I hate the fucking click to move. Like, it's a point and click adventure.
Yeah, well, it's the same with like Diablo and those other type of games.
Yeah, PS Portal, since you're out traveling a lot now, realistically, Flock, if you can get a refurbished Steam Deck and get a thing, you can run Chiaki and do the same thing. Plus, you'd have emulators. Plus, you'd have Steam games. Just throwing that out there.
It'd be native to your Steam Deck instead of having to rely on, you know, Wi-Fi and everything, depending on where you go. So.
No, Flock, I'm aware. Like, I actually really love Baldur's Gate, but I hate the movement, and I just haven't. Like, I've been a lazy asshole and not looked if there's a WASD mod. I bet you I could look right now.
Steam Deck. Well, don't you have your
mods.
Steam? Don't you have a Steam library already? I'm not saying you've bought everything on there, but you have a Steam library, no? Because if you do have a Steam library, that stuff carries over. Plus, again, Steam sales, like half the games you have that you need to rebuy if you needed to, you could get it for like $3. Yeah. Like Steam, don't underestimate the power of a Steam sale. Like,
I will say,
it's absolutely crazy. In fact, here,
you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea how many fucking Steam games I have. One, because of Humble Choice.
Humble Bundle,
which is like, yeah, Humble Bundle Choice every month. It's like $12, and they give you 8 games a month.
Yeah. Like here, so let's look. I get on there?
Like,
I have all of these games here, right here, and my library is small compared to most people. But I don't even have like half this stuff downloaded or anything. But it's just because I'd see it on sale and I'd be like, oh, $5. Okay. I'm like, what's on sale right now? I mean, you see sales every single day on Steam. And then when the Steam sale comes around, you're like this Jedi, like the 2 Star Wars games right here. They're like 65 to 70, 80% off. You'll see these both for like $2 or $3 at most on a Steam sale.
Yeah, you're also not counting CD keys and
CD
G2A.
keys, yeah. If you find CD keys and everything like that, like it's pretty crazy. So
like CD keys is already selling Flight Simulator 2024 for $57.19. That game's not even out yet. They're charging Lego Horizon Adventures $54.59 when that's a $70 game.
Yep.
Dragon Quest 3, not out yet, is a $60 game. They're charging $51.69. This is pre-release, and this shit happens all the time on PC.
Yeah. Plus, when you eventually build your PC in the future, if you get a new PC by yourself and everything, you can get you'll have all the games right there. You don't have to buy the games anymore.
See, and this is why I'm telling Flock, a pro, like he's the target audience for the pro.
Yes, he actually, funny enough, are the target audience for the pro.
He's saying, oh, I would do that, but I have to rebuild my whole library. Well, to get that PC level of performance, you could trade your goddamn PS5 in and get a pro for like $400, and then you'd have the best of everything.
Just make sure you take out your SSD. Make sure you check out your SSD
take your
before
SSD,
you give it away.
put all your games on it, and then put your SSD in, and you can play them right away too. It takes like a rebuild, which takes like 2 minutes. I'm not saying I won't get a pro. I just don't need it yet. That's what everybody says, Flock.
Yeah,
that's what everybody says. But yeah, it's very good. I will say, it's very very good for someone like you, Flock, who really
honestly, you know he should probably do, because I know he's coming out to Japan this winter with his friends and everything. Buy it over here. Just buy it over here.
It's gonna cost him $1,200 to buy it over there
in yen, but he's coming over with US dollars.
Oh, dropping nearly 10K. This is why I don't go on trips, Flock. I'm trying to buy a fucking house.
Well, his 10K trip is also going around during New Year's of all times. I don't know why you're coming out here during New Year's in Japan and not, the off season and everything. But, plus I know so you're also going to a bunch of onsens and you're with a group. So, yeah. Which, funny enough, 10K is still pretty high considering I figured you'd be splitting stuff with your friends, but.
I went to Disneyland for 2 days. That shit cost me like $350. Well,
it's funny. My family came out to Japan for 2 weeks, and with a hotel / the Airbnb, bullet train tickets, and going around, it in total maybe cost them $5,000 together.
Well, you see, Flock is what we call a baller. So he's like going out there. He's gonna make it.
I guess it depends if you're flying business class though, because my parents and family just flew economy.
He's gonna make it rain yen,
Those can't do spring, F summer. Oh yeah, never come in the summer. No, fall honestly is the best time to come. So.
Nah, if I'm going somewhere like Japan, I'm going alone. Fuck that. I'm not going with some other people.
Come alone, but then let me know when you get here, and then I'll show you around to some of the cool places.
I'd kick it with Talon. I'd go meet Garesh in person.
Yep.
Who else lives over there?
I'm splurging, man. I'm first class. Oh, no wonder you're spending so much money. He's going first class.
He's going first. That is 7,000 of those 10,000.
I was about to say that's like 3/4 of your budget right there.
But I can't buy a pro, man.
See, if you're flying from like New York to like Sydney, Australia, or something like that, which is like 18-hour flight, yeah, I'd probably splurge for business.
No, my budget ass. Like, I'll spend money on like computers and like game stuff because I know I'm gonna have that for years.
Yeah.
When I'm going on a trip, you could tape my happy ass to the outside of the Spirit Airlines fucking plane. Like, I mean, I'll pay you $25 for that shit.
What I'm trying to get at is that a Flock. I'm assuming you're either flying from the East Coast or the West Coast, regardless of where you're flying from. A flight from the East, I mean, especially for the West Coast over to Japan, it's only 8.5 hours, dude. You can sit in economy, watch some videos, and then boom, you're done. So, a direct flight in the pod on a 12-hour flight. Oh, it's only 12 hours? That's
direct from Denver. You live in Denver? I'm so sorry.
3 hours. So what is that? Wait, Denver to Washington State is 2-hour flight. Seattle to Japan is 8 hours at most. That's a 10-hour flight. I don't know where you're getting 12 hours. 12 hours must mean if you're getting crazy winds going the other way, but even then,
Oh, from Denver.
I don't know. My dad lived in California as a kid, but
Yeah, I've grown up here and I'll die here if all things go.
you know, I originally thought I was gonna live and grow up and die in Washington State, and yeah, I'm sure a teenage me would be like,
and then the weeb hit, and then
well, you
we
know,
call it
kind of got
Weber-
married, so you know.
we call it Weeberty, you know, like you hit that age of like 13, start watching Dragon Ball, and no going back.
Yeah, but I actually studied the language and everything, and like I never go to like any of those places or anything like that. So
I know, I'm just giving you shit.
I know you always give me shit on it. So
It's cool. Like, no, Flock is a weeb. Like, telling you're a normal guy who just happened to learn the language, Flock is a weeb. And you know Flock is a weeb because he's trying to learn the language after going on his trips. Talon went and learned the language, then moved over to this motherfucker. Started teaching the children.
You're gonna be my
And
on-site
then-
translator, only if it's in Tokyo
God
and
damn.
you're actually here on a day that I'm free. Because I swear to God, if you try to call me up on like January 1st, I'm gonna hang up so effing fast and be like, "You motherfucker, get the f out of here."
Started learning my Japanese. How many? And can you carry on a conversation? Flock?
Hang on, you've been studying Japanese for 5 years. Why the f do you need my help? The only thing you
That's
need
what
my
I'm
help
saying.
for would be like going to a city government office or something.
If it has taken you 5 years to learn the language to to the point you could have a conversation,
You should be fine. I mean, he took me. Realistically, everything he learned in school was not that good. Like, I learned most of my stuff just living here because I just got entrenched into the culture. It took me about a year to be able to speak a decent conversation with somebody. That's about it. 26th to the 1st of December. Wait, so November 26th or December 26th? I'm confused. Yeah, you had to restart because of COVID. Yeah. Wait, is that November 26th to December 1st or December 26th to January 1st?
not a fast learner. It's a language, homie.
Yeah, but
Fucking
it depends how some people learn a language. So I get
fucking
it. December 20.
Speak it.
Dude, you're coming at the worst time. You're coming at the worst time. Oh my God. Oh, are you coming during that? Those particular days are literally the worst times to be here. Oh.
He's like, I wonder why my trip is costing costing $10,000. I'm going first class on New Year's.
Oh.
You do have options. Your option could be don't go at that time.
Oh my God.
Again, spring. Other people can't go. Fuck them. Go by yourself.
Oh my God.
I go to shit by myself all the time. I don't need to be around people. Less expensive than spring. New Year's is less expensive than spring.
It depends on when in spring he's coming. If you come in early spring, you're fine. If you come in late spring, yeah, it's gonna be more expensive. That's when all the foreigners come for the sakura flowers and everything. You gotta learn when to.
Just call them foreigners.
Because you guys are.
Yeah, you go before that.
Yeah. No, like, okay, so because my family came out in the spring, but they didn't come in the middle of the spring. They came at early spring. I told them, like, no, you are coming at this date and you are leaving at this date.
I had to tell my friend because we go to the Halloween Disney thing, and
Block, I think it's time for you to find a new group of friends.
This year, we went, and one of the days was a weekend for the hotel, right? So they saw we were taking a 2-day trip. And because we go on Halloween, that's when the party tickets are the most expensive. So that was already getting us. But then the hotel weekend, too, made it way more expensive. So I told her, I was like, next year, we're going during the week, not on Halloween. Because if we do that, we're going to save like $400 between the two of us.
My wife and I, when we first started dating, we went over to USJ, Universal Studio Japan. And just like anywhere, Disneyland, Disney World, doesn't matter where you go in the world, right? There are days that you go if you want to avoid the crowds and everything. And there are days you don't go. Be it price, be it how crowded it's going to be and everything. And we went during a time where people were still in school. It was a weekday. We were able to take a few days off during the week, and it was actually pretty nice for the most part. Yeah, there were still some long lines here and there, but overall it was not bad. And then my friend and his wife at that time decided to go on a weekend during a holiday time, Golden Week.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, are you an idiot? What are you doing?
Even I know not to fuck up like that.
Jeez, I'm like, why would you do that? And he's like, I thought it would be fun. I'd be like, you are a dumbass. You're a dumbass. So.
Yeah, it's like I go to Disney in the holidays. I mean, I go all times. I go once a month at least to Disney, right? Because it's just, I pay fucking $40 a month or whatever.
Look, Flock, I get trying to go for the different seasons there, Flock, but this is where I'm gonna say, and you know, maybe it's just because I'm somebody who can travel alone and everything. Go by yourself. Don't try to get a group of friends. That's gonna make it even harder for you.
Have them tape you to the outside of the fucking Tokyo Air. Be like, I will ride in the landing gear.
Honestly, I don't think USJ is honestly worth it coming here to Japan. You're better off spending your money elsewhere. Like, go other places.
You know where I want to go? I want to go to Universal to go to Nintendo Land because they're making it Christmas this year.
Yeah, we went 2 years ago, and then we're just like, okay, we saw it. We're done.
Yeah, I haven't been. Right, it's been here for a couple years now, but like my cousin came over and took my brothers, but I had to work, so I was like, oh, that is not how you spell paid, Flock. Don't be part of the problem. God damn it. I don't know why people started spelling paid P-A-Y-E-D. That's one of those things that just drives me nuts. Not a fucking word. Yeah, P-A-I-D. Like, what? Is that,
I mean, I'll even admit I mess up on spelling sometimes, but at least get some of your past tenses correct.
It's a...
Gotta pay Bobby a visit for yelling at me.
You can, get your happy mile high ass down here. You're more than welcome. I don't think you'd survive.
He'll come in t-shirts and shorts though, because it's gonna be a lot warmer compared to where he is.
You haven't been in the fucking high desert, Talon. It's like, I guess it's true. It just doesn't snow here because it doesn't rain. But this bitch gets down to like 22, like in the winter. It's fucking freezing out here. Damn. Like right now, it's like 42 or something. And this is just the cooling off. It's not even. That's
because, I mean, obviously, just if you again remember anything from school, the desert, will get very cool in the nighttime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, I hate to cut it just abruptly here, but I do need to finish the stream, guys, because we've been live for over. So I'm gonna stop it here. Thanks for everyone that stopped by. A lot of fun with the discussions and everything. Catch us live next week. We'll be on obviously again, and make sure you check out our videos. See the channel, subscribe if you happen to be new. Until next time, everyone. We'll see you all in the next one. Johnny.
Bye-bye.